Hey, have you tightened up today? This is the Two-Tone Takeover, and I am the Two-Tone Bandit, and this is a podcast for Tennessee Titans fans by Tennessee Titans fans. We want you to pull up and represent that two-tone blue the way that you want to. This is a fan-based community built just for us, a place where the fans can actually have a voice. And on today's episode, we got Ice, Van, Ghost, Bo, Jackson in the building, and Coach Murphy is on his way soon. And we came here to break down the draft, looking at the picks, looking at how they fit and how they can help their position group, as well as what other needs do we feel still need to be addressed. And without further ado, before we get started, I need you to lock in, like, share, subscribe, tighten the hell up, and now we can get straight into it. Jumping straight into it, wasting no time. What we're going to do, we're just going to look at each draft pick and how we feel like they fit into the system and how they can help out their position group. And at the end of all that, we're just going to see, are there any more positions or anything else we feel like that can help the team, any other things that we can fill, any other spaces, anything at all that we feel like is missing from this puzzle that we're trying to put together. So with that said, I'm going to jump straight into it. Round one, pick 4. Everyone went for love until their heart got broken. And then it was Carnell Tate who was the pick, straight out of Ohio State. College production, he had 51 receptions, 875 yards, 9 touchdowns, averaging 12.2 yards per reception. So I feel like when I look at Carnell Tate, one thing that stands out is that, if I'm not mistaken, my research shows me that he has 0 drops in 2025. He has strong contested catch ability. And, you know, some people say that he also has the potential to be a true X factor, especially given the size and the body control that he has. So what I would like to ask you all is, like I just said, like, how do you see him fitting into the system? How do you see him adding any value to the position group that we currently have? We're going to go with Ice, Van, Ghost, Bo, Jackson, and knock it out in that order until Coach jumps in here. But let's go with that. Like I said, Carnell Tate, round 1, pick 4. How do you feel about him fitting into the system? Ice, take it away. The floor is yours, brother.
Well, everybody's calling Carnell Tate the safe pick. I think that undersells him. He's not safe because he lacks upside. He's safe because his game translates immediately. So what he is, he's a polished, high IQ route runner. He's QB-friendly receiver. He's got good timing and leverage. And we ask how he fits. He's an immediate contributor in the pass game, reliable target in critical downs, and he helps the structure of the offense. I think what he fixes is the inconsistent separation, the lack of dependable targets, and the offensive rhythm issues. I think that, people look at him as a long distance receiver, and that's kind of how I thought of him at first too. But he is not just that, and I think that's the take home point here, is that he is a total receiver who can do the whole route tree, and he's going to get us more first downs and get when he was talking about rushing attempts the other day. We were kind of debating about it. He said, I think it was Murph, I'm not sure it was, but he said the reason we didn't get those extra attempts is because we didn't have enough first downs and so forth. So I think you get more first downs, you get more rushing attempts, and then we see the results we want to in the running game.
That's good stuff, man. I was super elated with Carnell Tate. I'm excited that we got an offensive weapon, and I think he fits really nicely into what we're building here in the first year under Robert Saleh, with the additions of Wan'Dale Robinson into that room as kind of a veteran, if you will, that's been around and been in Daboll's system. Ice touched on a lot of good points. For me, when I watched Carnell Tate in college, he has, I think it was over 17 yards average. You guys could clarify for me on scoring plays for Carnell Tate, which is obviously an explosive metric that shows this guy has explosive capability. And we know that. But part of it, when you watch his tape, is his ability to contest and actually get those catches on contested catches. I mean, obviously, we had that one big highlight reel, I think it was against Wisconsin or somebody, where he went over 2 guys up in the end zone, lost his helmet. Sick play, right? But that shows you the guy's type of grittiness, his desire, that wide receiver one mentality, that dog mentality, which was linked to me in the combine when he came out and said, man, I'm the best receiver in this whole group. And he stayed true to it. He doesn't come across to me as uber cocky, but I need a wide receiver that's going to want to go in there and perform. And a lot of the stuff that stood out on his tape, to Ice's point, was he is an extremely gifted possession receiver, in my opinion, because he actually knows how to run a route tree. He also is very good when a play breaks down at getting to an open location and being available for his quarterback, whether it be up against the boundaries on the sidelines or in the middle of the field. And that's something that Cam Ward and him will develop over time in camp moving into the season. But immediately, I mean, we all saw last year, that is absolutely what we need on this offense to, like he said, move the chains. And the reason I love the fit with this offense and how we're building it is because both he and Wandell are guys that are high target guys. They have good hands. They have a good route tree. And it will, to Ice's point, keep the chains moving. And watching every game and every snap like we did last year, we struggled mightily with that. And I don't think it was just offensive scheming. It was definitely some in the players' hands and how they were actually putting the plays out there on the field. So I love the fit. I think he comes in, and we absolutely need him to take over that room sooner than later and become what he really can be.
All right, Ghost.
So for me, obviously, it was very happy with the Carnell Tate pick. Big Buckeye fan, in case you guys didn't know. he was my guy before Love. And then you know how the offseason starts to go. You start to see things. You see him compete at the combine. And it became for me like, oh, the best player in the draft. He was gone. Next for me was probably going to be Carnell Tate, even though I thought we were going to go defense. And I think for me, the conviction to help Cam Ward in the draft is huge. Them like showing that, because they really focused in free agency on defense, and then going offense in the draft is awesome. I think one thing about Carnell Tate that people don't see, I think people get hung up on that 4.5 40, but a lot happens between the beginning and the end of a route, and his short to intermediate he comes up on you fast, and you see that's right about when he dusts those guys, whether it's a deep route or if it's like an intermediate route. Once he takes that turn on the route, that's when he loses them. He does stuff with his head where it completely throws guys off, and you don't have to be a 4.4 or 4.3 blazer to do that. You know what I mean? So he's a great route runner. And like you said, if it hits his hands, it's like vice grips, man. He doesn't drop them. He doesn't drop those balls at all. So I'm very excited. I think Cam Ward's got the accuracy and he can get it to anywhere on the field. And I think Dabo's going to use him in a lot of different ways, and it's going to be exciting to see. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I wanted offense regardless. We all know how many times we talked about Love, but I wanted offense regardless for Cam and the offense in general. He's going to open up so many things for everybody. I mean, you're going to have Wandale, him. I still think Alec is going to have a role in the offense. I still think DK, they're going to have certain sets for him. Gunnar Helm's going to be, a lot more of an opportunist with all these guys out there. And I even do think, to Ice's point, it's going to open up the run game a little bit. He was dead fast all up to this point about the running game. So I'm very happy with him. People try to talk about his production, 51 catches. Well, how many times did Ohio State pull their starters early? I mean, the amount of times they were whooping on teams, like he probably would have had 70 plus catches this year if they didn't pull their starters so much. So I don't know. And that's, to me, that's people that watch the stats. They don't watch the game. They don't see what he does and what he can do. And to Ghost's point, how many guys run 4.5s in the league that aren't Blazers that are viewed as some of the best receivers in the league? Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. I mean, they're route technicians, know how to get in and out of their breaks, know how to manipulate the defenders with their hips and their shoulders and get open quick. And I have full faith that he's going to be able to help them out. And just having him on the field, I think it's going to open up for everybody. And my thing is, at this point, you can't be wrong picking Ohio State receiver. I mean, Brian Hardline up in Ohio State, I mean, it doesn't matter who it is. Nobody thought Jackson Smith and Jigba would do what he did, and every year he keeps developing. And we talk about Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. They all come from the same place, and he all teaches them the same mentality. Wide receiver one. Everybody in the room is a wide receiver one. And you see it how they all play. And he's going to continue to grow into his body. I think his final frame's not finished yet. He's already good with manipulating his body to get those catches. I'm excited to see what he does as years go on. But I think that he unlocked a piece of the offense that we didn't know we would need until he came onto the team. So it's going to be exciting to see training camp and how they build their connection.
Yeah, I mean, when we're all bummed when Jeremiah Love went off the board, and really when you look in this draft, building for that offense for Cam is probably the biggest thing. When you're walking away, what is the biggest thing that the New York Jets are missing? Well, that offensive power. That's what Robert Saleh was kind of looking at the end of the day. The Jets are missing on offense. You had to look at it, but at the end of the day, the Titans are very high on their quarterback. Mike Borgonzi said it. Saleh's on it. So everybody was kind of thinking Carnell Tate, I think at number 4 is the safe pick for your quarterback. It's a guy that's going to develop over time. He's just 21 years old. He has time to develop. His route running, we already know, is some of the best in college. Just last season, the contested catch rate, like y'all just mentioned, 85%. And especially, he reminds me, he has a lot of skills like Devontae Adams. Am I going to say he's me the Devontae Adams type of player? Yes, no, maybe, but the skills are there. And Carnell Tate is going to play everywhere on the offense. So many roles, the X, Y, Z, wherever you want to put him, that's where Carnell Tate's going to be. So really, I'm very excited to see what he's going to do on Friday. Friday is the day we're going to see the true test of Tate. We're going to see how he's going to do, but he's very explosive off the line. And I think his route running is way better than people think. And let me say this. He's considered a wide receiver 2 Ohio State. I remember some guys like Justin Jefferson was a wide receiver 2 at Alabama, I believe, top of my head. Now he's a wide receiver number 1 for Minnesota. So again, I don't think wide receiver 2 for Ohio State's offense doesn't really matter because Ohio State's elite and their offense is elite. I'm excited to get him in the building. He's going to work with Brian Dable, and definitely, I believe the receiver coach's name, forgot the first name, but Lewis, the receiver coach, is going to definitely have fun with him. He's definitely had good experience with a lot of good receivers in the past. So with Carnell Tate and Cam Ward, everybody's just going to get better at one day at a time.
First of all, shout out to G. Lou. Shout out to G. Lou. He's a great wide receivers coach. I'm extremely excited to have him in here and be our wide receiver coach. I'm excited about him. Of course, everybody was on that Jeremy Love train, and you know I was right there with you. Mm-hmm. But second best. He was going to go no later than 6, so we got him at 4, so it wasn't a reach. For all the people that was talking about it was a reach, it's not a reach. It was hard for me to say that because I was in love with a prospect. It's difficult to get out of love for a prospect that quick, and they did that. They got Tate in here in the building, so I'm excited about that. He's going to be big for our offense, period. He reminds me right now, the present set, he's pro ready. He reminds me of Corey Davis when Corey Davis had that big year before he left to go to the Jets. That's what he reminds me of right now. If he got a little bit better, he will be a T. Higgins. If he basically capped out, a lot of people say Isaac Bruce. I say Marvin Harrison. Just looking at it with a little bit less wiggle. But of course, that's going to grow in the future. I understand. Ice, I see you looking at me, bro. But that's what I see. That's what I see. When I was looking at films when they draft, I told you I was up to 4:00 in the morning looking at film. So I feel like he's going to take a lot of eyes off of the backfield. So therefore, with our one cut stud, we're going to talk about a little bit later. We'll be copacetic when it comes to it because I got a cop for him too. Y'all going to look at me like I'm crazy again. So. For what I see and for what I see this offense to be in the future, I feel like Carnell Tate was a great pick for that moment with the stud off of the board. So I'm excited for it. I'm ready for it. I think Cam is really going to excel in this system because of him. And he's not going to have a lot of pressure. Just like Ridley's not going to have a lot of pressure now. So having these guys be able to battle with each other and take the pressure off each other is going to be extremely beneficial, and it's also going to help Cam. It's going to help Dable also calling the plays. So we should be copacetic. I'm excited. I'm ready to get the ball rolling when it comes to it.
10-4. It sounds good to me. Sounds very good to me. All right, so me personally, when I look at Tate, just real quick, I'm not going too deep, but what I see is I just see an immediate outside person. Now, could it be a 1? Maybe, eventually. I'm not sure because I guess we only evaluating that based off the current roster. We would maybe change our tune depending on the next offseason and who else they might bring onto the roster. So, that's something to take in consideration when you're looking at the future outlook. But I think he has the potential to become that. And, but right now, I think he can immediately step in and be, 1B, maybe wide receiver 2. Especially opposite Ridley. I think it gives Cam Ward a reliable, mistake-free target, if you will. And it opens up the play action and the vertical passing game. So I think these are things to take into consideration from my perspective when I'm evaluating Carnell Tate and how he actually fits into this system. So with that being said, we're going to move on to the second pick. First round. We didn't even know we had 2 first rounders. Oh, look at us being fancy this year. Okay. Well, we ended up with Keldric Faulk, edge out of Auburn. And the profile on him is that he's massive, physical edge setter, power-based, rusher with bully style strength. The fit that I see for him right now is I can see him as rotational for year 1. But I can see him potentially, depending on how he develops, potentially stepping into a starter role in year 2. He fits the defense that needs this type of physical tone setter up front. I think that he is he's not polished, but he is disruptive. And so that is, as a rookie, if you can be disruptive, then I think that's an A+ on itself. The coach's job is to polish you. So with that being said, like I said, the same thing. How do you see him fitting into this system? And then, and then the second part to that question is really, how do you see him, adding value to the position group that he got drafted to? Same snake wave. We're going to go Ice, Van, Ghost, B, Jackson, and Coach. All right. Ice, the floor is yours. Take it away, brother.
Now, first of all, we can't be comparing our players to Colts players. Okay, so you have to fix find somebody else. Chris Carter, somebody.
All right, I apologize.
All right, let's get on with it. So Keldric Faulk. He is not the flashy edge rusher that people love on draft night, but he's the guy that offensive lines hate by week 6. That's what I see in him. He's a power-based edge defender. He's a pocket collapser, not just a sack artist. I think that's important. He sets the edge versus the run really well. He creates the pressure opportunities, and I think that's really what he fixes. Is he creates those pressure opportunities. He's not all about sacks, and I hope he becomes about sacks. That's something that he wants to improve. He told us that when he had his interview, but he is a guy who disrupts the timing of the offense. He's not been a guy who gets you sacks, and that's not why Saleh picked him. I think he picked him because, for one, he can be placed anywhere on the defensive line, and 2, he disrupts the timing. He throws the offense off, and he does a very, very good job at that. So, sometimes people get caught up looking at the sack numbers. It's not all about that. He's got a ton of pressures, and that's what this guy's about, is getting pressure. And he can be used on that wide 9 as well on third downs. I think that was mentioned in one of those press conferences too. So I'm really excited to see just how much pressure this kid can muster up, and I think that's what he's all about. And that's what he fixes, is that creating pressure and disrupting the timing of the offenses.
Yeah, I agree. We needed something from the edge location, and in lieu of not getting one of those top guys in the top 10, I think this is an excellent pick by the Titans. We got a lot of value in it. I mean, you see where this guy expected to go, where he heard that he might go, and the Titans clearly believed in him and had him selected as somebody that they wanted to go up and grab. So that says a lot to me about what the conviction of the front office was. But for Keldric, as an Alabama fan, I've seen Keldric his entire career at Auburn, and he's annoyed me the whole time. I mean, the guy, his numbers as he put out, right? 30 pressures and 2 sacks. And you can see it. If you're an Alabama fan, I've got plenty of Auburn fans. I watch those games as well, whether I like to or not. He finishes too high. He's a tall guy. He's 6'5". He has 34-inch arm length, I believe. He is a tall dude. And part of his immaturity in his role, in my opinion, was the fact that he just rushed and finished high. Quarterbacks would be able to get out of his grasp, extend the play a little bit, whether that play ended up in a sack from another individual or not, or, however the play ended. That was kind of the MO that I saw a lot of times. Another thing that, to be a little critical, that I'd like to see him work on is that motor. You hear guys talk about these D-line guys that have a motor, never stop, always push. And there were times Keldric on certain plays seemed to almost just stop. And, I saw a couple of them in Alabama games. There was one where last year he played against Kalen Proctor and had kind of an inside swing move, and, he just basically stopped and the play was still going. Now, I don't know exactly what those play calls were from the defensive coach. I don't know what was going on the field, but there are times it seemed like maybe his intentionality and his engine wasn't the same on every single play. You can chalk that up to his age. You can chalk it up to all kinds of different things. But I think that his potential and his ceiling is really high. And I think in the Titans defense under Saleh, if I remember correctly, I heard somebody come out and say it reminded him a little bit of like an Eric Armstead. And that would be a crazy ad for this defensive line. I think that Keldric has a huge potential to come in. He is extremely versatile, like you said. The dude knows how to play the run. He has very good read recognition from his position off the run. He played in a defensive style at Auburn under, I think it's Durpin, that was aggressive, fast, and that's exactly what Saleh wants. I think he's going to come in and have an impact. And I think that the value of having somebody like him on top of the other individuals already on that D-line is that we can stay to Saleh's approach of trying to keep these guys 60%, always keeping them rotated in and out, having fresh legs, and have a defense that can still, as I said, create pressure, affect the play, even if it doesn't end up in a sack. But I really liked the pick. I thought it was a great job by Borgonzi and crew to come up and grab the guy they wanted. And really, I'm looking forward to how he grows with the Titans next year.
I think you guys remember I was a little bit off put by the trade. I thought, but in like researching Keldric and hearing like you guys talk about him, I think I'm excited. So I mean, at worst, what are you getting? An elite run stopper, right? He's going to come in immediately and impact the game in that way, which is huge. He can play all the way up and down the line. And one thing that I think, or was thinking, it's kind of outside the box, is Jeff Simmons, when he came into the league, struggled getting sacks. He struggled closing early on. And who better to help this kid maybe close? And maybe his pressures, man, maybe we got 2 closers in JFM and Jeff Simmons now. So maybe his pressures help them close more. You know what I mean? Like maybe he impacts the game in that way. Maybe it's not direct sacks. Maybe that'll come, but I'm excited for him. And reading about him, just hearing the kid like interview and stuff, I think he's a solid pick, a good leader, and we got Saleh too, man. Like I think it's a promising pick for sure. There's a lot of things that could move that needle north for sure.
It's funny. The first time I actually came across him was playing college football, and it came out 2 years ago, and I got him in the transfer portal, and I was like, who is this guy? And he was a high-rated dude, and I'm getting all these sacks, and everybody in this online league with me are like, who the heck is this? Killing me. And I was like, I need to look him up. And so I actually started learning more about him before. So I think he's a good pick. I mean, he's going to come in and be a run stuffer first to develop the pass rush. You guys have touched on it, and he talked on it too. Shout out to Teron Davenport, because he asked a question about the pad height that Van had brought up, and I loved that he was honest and forthcoming. Like my pad height's too low. I mean, too high. I need to get lower. He knows what he needs to do with his body. He knows what he needs to work on. And I mean, what better defense than this one with everybody that's going to be around him and the coaching that he's going to get. I think he's going to be a home run in the long run. He's going to be a disruptor. I think more interior than on the edge outside of run. I think he'll be a really good edge run defender to start, and you can get him on some pass sets in the interior with his height and his power. I mean, you saw the highlights when we drafted him. He was great on the interior pass rush, but the edges, we'll see how he is over the long run. But the person that he is, I think, is another big thing, because I don't know if you guys saw, I mean, with his family, he was passing out meals to everybody, when he was at Auburn. And he's a great person, and he talks about the work ethic, and everybody's talked about how hard he worked at Auburn. I think that if you're around the quarterback enough, you're eventually going to get the sacks. So to me, pressures are, the light bulb's going off. You just got to finish it. And so I'm happy with the fact that he's getting as many pressures as he is. Like you guys said, he just has to finish it. He's going to have so many dudes around him. If Jeff Simmons don't finish it, if JFM don't finish it, if it's Jimmy Johnson, whoever it is, he might finish it. Everybody's going to get a chance to clean up each other. And so I'm really excited about all that. He's one of the biggest guys on the team, and it was Borgonzi, I think, that reference that he looked like Eric Armstead as far as coming out of college. So, I mean, if he lives up to just that alone, and not even that, if he can be a poor man's Eric Armstead, and I'd be very happy with the pick. So I'm excited to see what he does when we get to the fall.
Did you guys hear that he used some of his NIL money to pay tuition for a walk-on?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Great person.
I mentioned that on our last pod.
I mean, well, first of all, shout out to Borgonzi for the trade up. I mean, Borgonzi took a big swing, that trade up to move 4 spots. I mean, that to me, it's Morganzi. One of the biggest things is about aggressive. He was really aggressive in this draft, and Keldric Faulk is aggressive guy. You do trade back, and I think a lot of us expected to go around maybe in the top 20. I thought he was going to go as high as Dallas, number 20 for me an example. But yeah, you guys brought it up. Elite run defender is a guy that's on the edge, can maybe play interior on the inside, fits solid 4-3, could play on the wide 9, and you know what? He was not ashamed to be like, hey, I need to be better. Right, I need to get more to the quarterback. He's a guy that's going to own up to it. And I'm very excited to see him on Friday because I think we're going to learn a lot about him. And, Saleh in his defense, he's going to keep guys fresh. The biggest thing with Saleh is you're going to have at least maybe 9 to 10 guys a game on that role on your defensive line rotating in and out. And I think that's one of the biggest things. And you're going to learn with Jermaine Johnson, a healthy guy. And, Femi Oladejo's still here, right? So I think everybody's, again, is going to get better around you. And edge is one of the biggest needs that we need to address, right? Maybe we could have waited, but, with the board going, right, there's a lot of edge prospects going off the board. Malachi Lawrence just went, and you had the trade-up possibility. Really good frame. I really do like his mentality. His mentality is there. My question is, he needs to work a little bit on the pass rush, like Van said. I watched a couple. I saw him stop on a couple plays. He needs to finish a little bit more. But I think we got a guy that's going to show a lot of good progress on table. And I think overall, once the season gets going, he's going to rotate a lot. And I won't be surprised if Keldric is a guy who's going to get maybe 5 to 6 sacks a season to develop more. And as we see him go on, he's going to get better every single week.
Y'all making it real difficult for me. Go at the end. Saying all this I'm saying all this stuff that I was going to say.
We call you the closer, coach.
Hey, I feel you, but damn, y'all putting a lot of pressure on me. All right. His comp, his max out comp is going to shock some people. But let me start it like this. Coach Van, Titan Van, I apologize. I called you coach because everybody's a coach to me nowadays.
Hey, that's what they used to call me.
See, there you go. I saw you as a baseball coach, bro.
Yeah, brother.
Talk about that later. So I see. I do my research on my family, bro. But seriously, you said something about his motor. I did see that in the film that I looked at. His motor, sometimes he does stand around and watch, especially when the quarterback drifts back and he's at the line of scrimmage and he just stands there and looks. He does that a lot. So that's something that we can work on, but it's coachable. He has zero moveset. I haven't seen him use a swim. I haven't seen him use a spin. I haven't seen him use a club, really. So when it comes to the moveset, it's zero. It's bare. So therefore, we can work on that too. That's all coaching. When it comes to it, he is 6'6". He is 270 to 280. He's a long, athletic guy. He is going to be an edge setter more so than anything. Our edge setters are legit when it comes to it now with Johnson and him. We have really, really good edge setters. So therefore, not a lot of teams are going to be able to run on us, especially with our big guys in the middle and our beasts at middle linebacker. So we should be copacetic when it comes to that. He completes the room, to my understanding and my thought process. I feel like he does complete the room because I believe we're at 20 deep right now, and we're 20 deep when it comes to legit guys. It's not no BS. It's not a lot of fluff when it comes to that. So I'm excited about that because it's going to be a lot of comp, just like it's going to be a lot of comp in the O-line room. He only had 2 sacks when it comes to this year. It was a lot of situations when he was at the legs, he just didn't finish. I've seen that a lot. Van, you said it. I've seen the exact same thing that you saw. He did have 7 the following year, well, the prior year, which was cool. But at the same time, that's still not going to do much. We need you to do more when it comes to it. As he develops, as he trains, I feel like he's going to get on point and he's going to be a lot better. My comp as of right now, just like everybody said, is Armstead. That's what he is, and that's what he possibly can be if he gets a little bit better. But if he starts finishing when it comes to the sacks, look at Julius Peppers. Just look. Again, when I say my comps and when I say my max comp, the floor comp and where they are right now, if they got a little bit better, that's exactly what it is. If he started finishing his sacks, then you know more than us when it comes to this. Can you saw the game? How many sacks do you think he would have had if he finished?
He could add 8 more.
So that's what I'm saying. And that was being modest when it comes to it because we don't know. Like, I feel like his comp max-wise is Julius Peppers. Will he get there? more than likely not. That's going to be extremely difficult because that max out is going to be crazy. But for my max out, that's what I see. He is long. He is physical. For the first 2 years, I think JFM and I think Big Jeff are going to basically eat up everything that him and Jeremiah Johnson pushes in. So I think they're going to max out more so than anyone else. But he does have potential. He does have the it factor. I like the trade up because it shows that our GM has balls. I did not expect it. I did expect it if we got Jeremiah Love because I thought if we traded up, if we got Love at 4, I thought we would trade up to get Omar Cooper, who was there at 30. But everything happens for a reason. I'm happy for what we do have. I'm excited and I'm ready to get the ball rolling. I do think he completes our D-line room 100% sure though.
Okay. Cool. I think he does too. Jermaine Johnson, correction, is what he meant to say. He wanted Love so bad, he's still saying Jeremiah. It's okay.
I said Jeremiah?
It's okay.
Yeah, he
it's
said
okay.
Jeremiah.
It's okay.
Oh, damn, bro.
Hey, I love you, brother. Hey, brother. I love you, brother. It's okay.
I'm in love, bro. Oh, Jeremiah Smith next year though. What up though?
Pair of the Ohio State receivers again, man.
Oh, what's up?
Calm.
Yeah.
Carnell Tate
Hey,
says he's
don't
next.
sweat
though.
it. Todd
did say
reported a
that.
minute ago said Justin Jefferson went to Alabama, so you're good.
Okay, so I was right about
It's
Justin.
all love.
Oh,
Hey, it's been a long night,
LSU.
boy.
Okay, that's right.
We'll get better with time. That's okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I love
everybody
about it.
makes word mistakes.
Exactly. We all
Well, you
fans,
know,
bro.
you see, that's the thing. That's one of the things, you know, I'm not gonna go too far, but you know, I try to do about us here, and we bring the relatable element. You know, we're going to try to be, you know, as straight and as structured and, you know, as professional as possible, but not too much over the fact that because we're all human.
100%.
And that's one thing that I want to display because this is a fan-based community, like I always say. So going to make mistakes, but everyone does. Everyone has a typo. Everyone does something wrong. We're human. We don't need to emulate the sense of perfection when we just sitting here coming to have a conversation about the same team that we all love. So it's all love. It always will be, you know. And if you can't look beyond that, then get the out of here. Maybe I need to. Hey, but nonetheless, look, we're going to move on to our second round because we finally get to the second round and we moved up again, boom, 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 and we end up getting pick 60, pick round 2, pick 60. We go Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker out of Texas. Okay, so now we're really looking at the linebacker set here. Seems like, you know, they wanted to get the wide receiver straight. We got Cam some weapons. And then they come back to further address the already heavily invested in defense that they did in the offseason by doing Faulk and now Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker out of Texas, and college production. 113 tackles, 8.5 sacks, which was peak season for him. But his final year, he had 69 tackles, 4 sacks, and 2 interceptions. Athletic profile on this guy, I mean, just to give you something quick, he had a 4.51 speed, explosive, versatile 3-down back, in my opinion. We traded up for him for a reason. It feels more targeted defensive centerpiece than just trying to reach for a guy. And the way I see him kind of fitting into this system, I think I could say he has immediate starter potential. You know, fight my opinion if you feel like it. I think he can be used as a blitz weapon, and I think he's a great coverage linebacker. He fixes the second level speed issues immediately, if you ask me. But that's my takeaway on Anthony Hill Jr., our second round pick, 60 overall. Ice, I'm going to let you take it away. And the question is the same all the way down the ladder. How do you feel that they fit in the system, and how do you feel they add value to their position group? Brother, you have the floor. Take it away.
Well, this was the most critical pick, in my opinion, because at that point in the draft, I thought linebacker was a huge need, and there wasn't much left. And I didn't know Anthony Hill that well. I just saw a couple things on him, you know, combine stuff, you know. But once I got to know this kid, oh, my God. So he's my second favorite pick. Anthony Hill feels like a real Robert Saleh linebacker. He's got that huge frame. He's really fast. He's aggressive, and he's constantly attacking. He is explosive, a downhill linebacker. He is a playmaker in the backfield when they send him. But he also, what he is to us, he's going to be a potential green dot middle linebacker. And I do think that he will start week 1. You can put that on the record from me right now. He is the centerpiece of the defensive identity that Robert Saleh wants to establish. He can play the pass, which is something that Cody Barton really struggled at last season. I don't see a place for Cody Barton on this team. I know this is not about him, but I feel like that's important to say when we're talking about the middle linebacker position, especially our starting middle linebacker. He when he does blitz the quarterback, the limited backfield disruption problem that we've had is going to be even further addressed with him. So I think he does so many things. He's a Swiss Army knife at middle linebacker. He's got the size, he's got the speed. He just screams Robert Saleh. And then when you watch his film, I mean, shoot, man. I mean, I think we've all gotten so pumped over this kid in the last few days, but I do think he's going to be our starter, and I'll just go ahead and let Van take it from here.
Yeah, man, watching this guy, he reminds me of like a cruise missile. I mean, he is absolutely athletically gifted. He plays fast and violent. But what impressed me so much watching it within the realm of how fast and violent he plays is his spatial awareness and his ability to play the zone and read the play. There's so many different times where he is locked in. It's not just athletic and hey, I'm just reacting. He is reading and recognizing the play. And that shows you not only the fact that this guy came in as a freshman and made plays and impacted that defense in Texas, but also his ability to learn the defense, command the defense, like you said, from a green dot, and really take that role for a talented SEC group. I mean, this wasn't some group of defensive players that we talk about from a small conference school that didn't have high competition. These guys were in high competition games week in and week out in the SEC with national championship aspirations. This guy had a ton of tackles. He had a ton of tackles for loss. He had a ton of forced fumbles, 4 interceptions. And when you watch his tape, it really is impressive to see how he can read those plays, jump off of something, get to a ball, and jump in that zone in the quarterback's eyes and pick a ball off and take it to the house. So there's so much flexibility there. I mean, he's been comped recently in what I've read to Bobby Wagner. And obviously I think that might be an easy comp because of Saleh's background with Wagner, but it's still such an impressive comp. And I agree with you, man. I think that this guy comes in and starts. I think he's drafted for that reason. I think they believe in him. They traded up 9 spots from 69 to 60 after trading back. And they believe in this dude. They went to pick him specifically. And we all know, and we agree, linebacker room was a room that needed improvement. And to me, what Borganze, what he showed so much schnaz about was to be able to draft 4 a wide receiver, to come back and draft an edge, and then trade up and still address the linebacker room with such an athletic, gifted dude. I mean, this guy is highly impressive. And I think he fits everything that this defensive staff is building. And man, I'm stoked that we added him. I'm so excited to see him through camp and to see what he can do preseason and on. I think, like I said, it is an immediate impact player that's going to make plays on all aspects of the field for this defense.
Yeah, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. Is just fast, instinctive, all that good stuff. But when I didn't know much about him until our mock draft, and Ice brought him up, and we traded back and got him. And after that episode or that pod, I actually went and did a little bit of research on him. I think the one thing that stood out to me was 31 tackles for a loss, 17 sacks, and 8 forced fumbles in 3 seasons. We have not had that kind of productivity from the linebacker spot in a very long time. So I think that's what intrigues me the most about him is he's going to provide production at every level of the field and allow people like Keldric Faulk to develop. And once he starts getting his sacks and stuff.
Yeah, I remember when you guys did that because I wasn't able to be on it, but I was telling you guys Anthony Hill was the last reigning good player in that mock draft you guys did. My favorite thing is it doesn't matter if it's a receiver blocking him, a tight end, an offensive lineman. It can be the Big Show himself. He doesn't care. He's going to go at him. He's not. He is not scared to stick his nose in anything, and that's my favorite thing about him. And he is a Robert Saleh linebacker to a T. 6'3", fast, violent. And I mean, I know that his knock was they said sometimes he gets too aggressive and he jumps, sometimes thinks too early, but that's easily coachable. That's something that's coached from the film. That's something that's coached from your coaches. They're going to give him his role and he's going to excel in it. Outside of James Williams, who we obviously drafted a couple years ago from being a safety, he's the biggest linebacker in the room now. He's 6'3". He fits the mold of what they want. He does good in the zone coverages. I mean, you've seen him on the highlight film. He'll be able to drop in coverage pretty well. Hopefully he could develop a little bit more if they ever need him to do man. But he can rush on the edge too. He had sacks off the edge coming out of Texas. I don't think we'll blitz too much with the front four we have, but if we ever need to, he has a skill set at that backer spot to do it. It was probably my favorite defensive pick, just from everything that he can do to the defense in general. That man in the middle, that's just twitchy, and he's going to go and he might make mistakes as a rookie. That's fine, but he's going to make a lot more plays than he does mistakes with what they're going to ask him to do. His whole goal is see ball, get ball, and that he's perfect for that. And I'm just excited that they added a violent defender like that. Because I mean, we got it with Jeff Simmons on the D-line stuff, but you need a violent middle guy. And Anthony Hill, he's going to bring that same type of violence. He may not talk as much as Big Jeff does, but he's going to talk with his gait. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, this is the second of Mike Borgonzi's trades of this draft. And, you know, when you look at the linebackers going off the board, right? We saw Galladay, Rodriguez, Trotter go off the board earlier. So when you're kind of thinking, okay, what is the next bad linebacker? Do you go Hill or do you wait later on to the third or fourth round? Because that's really what I was thinking was going to have to happen. You didn't give too much to move up 9 spots. I really do like Anthony Hill. Again, I hate to say it because I'm a USC fan, and Anthony Hill and the Longhorns are the Trojans, one of the Trojans' rivals, right? It's a young linebacker. He'll be 21 years old to start in September, right? He's just heating up. Really good physical tackler, and he's a blitzing linebacker, right? And you guys mentioned it. You can play off the edge. You can play inside. And Ice brought it up. I think it really hits to what Cody Barnes is if he's going to play a lot this season. It's really going to take a toll. I think this guy is really going to compete in camp. I think what we're going to see it on Friday from all of hopefully media posts a lot of good stuff. We're going to see him show out. We're going to see him a lot in June, July, August, like leading up to the camp. I think this is one of the players on defense is going to start right away. I think he's the perfect Robert Saleh linebacker. He can punch the ball out really well, had 8 forced fumbles. He's a guy that finishes tackles. He only missed 4.5% tackles last season, right? And you need strong tacklers on the team. He, like you guys mentioned, he blitzed, and he can slow down a little bit if he comes in too high. But again, like you guys mentioned, I think Bow mentioned it. Like you can fix that on tape. I think he's a guy that is going to be very great for a long time. And this is my hot take. I think he can be Mr. Monday Night Football one day. I think if you really can see over time, you can really see him be like a Keith Bullock to this defense. And besides Bullock, I honestly, linebacker has been a really big miss for the last couple of years for the Tennessee Titans. And I think Hill's definitely going to take the big leap. And, I want them to keep James Williams on this team, right? They have those 3 guys on that linebacker room rotate. It's going to be questioning the Barton and see what he's going to do now. But Hill's definitely a safe, good pick. And it's honestly one of my favorite picks in this draft as well.
Jackson, you got Bishop, bro. You should be happy. We got Bishop on the team.
I love Bishop, man. I'm so happy.
Man, I love Bishop. He looked like Kevin. He looked like KB. So that's a conversation we can have for. That's a huge statement, bro. But you gotta look at him play.
Huge statement.
Hey, bro.
It's true. It's true.
Look at him play.
I saw his interception, the highlight of his interception, and I see what you're saying. I do, but
yeah,
that's a big statement, though. It's a big statement.
We can talk about that a little bit later because we can have a conversation on the draft experience.
Let's let him sign. Let's let him sign first. So he officially signs. Yeah. He's one of the guys we can talk about. Yeah. So we're good.
Hey, I know Mount Brownlee. I don't think he signed yet. I pray to God he does.
Who, Tyron?
Yeah.
I thought he did. I thought he did. Maybe. We'll check on that. I'll talk about that later. But go ahead.
We can talk about that another day. But when it comes to Anthony Hill Jr., he's a baller, bro. He's a baller. Everybody wanted Devin Lloyd in this offseason. He is Devin Lloyd to a certain extent. He's missed the consistency. Since he got into the college, he was thought to be the guy, and he has been the guy. Freshman All-American, actual All-American in the second year, and then last year was believe it or not, a down year for him because he was injured. He can ball. He's a heat-seeking missile. He's what we thought Kenneth Murray. he is what we thought he would be when he came here, but he can just play coverage a lot better than Murray can. So we got a baller. He's nasty, sideline to sideline, elite speed, elite rusher. He can play. I'm not sure why he slipped, but I don't honestly don't care. I'm glad that he's on our team. He's going to ball for us for a long duration of time. When it comes to my comp for him, because you guys did a great job of covering everything. Only thing I can do is damn comps at the bottom, which is fine though. I love it. This is what I do. For my comp, as of right now, he's Kenneth Murray Jr., but he can coverage a little bit better. If he gets a little bit better, I see Devin Lloyd. And if he gets a lot better, I see Dre Greenlaw. Honestly, if you think about it, he has some Dre Greenlaw in him. He's a little bit bigger than Dre, but he can ball. So that's when I think he's going to max out at. I truly like it. I love it. I think he's going to be beneficial towards this team. I also believe I want to see him at the green dot. I want to see Gray out there with him, and I also want to see Jamal Williams. I don't want to see Cody. I would love Cody to stay on the team as a vet. He can still play to a certain extent. He would be a great backup, but I want to see those three dogs just maul people. With our front and those three back there, I don't know what you want me to say. That's elite right there. So hopefully we can get that in there. I think Williams is going to get a lot better this year. So yeah, I'm excited. But I'm going to end off with that. I want to see those three back there.
I think we all do, brother. I think we all want to see them three, complete the unit of the front seven. And I might be the biggest believer of most people because I'm optimistic, but I've learned to humble myself over the years. But I didn't want to humble myself at the risk of my optimism. And listen, because at the end of the day, it all has to be proven. It does. This is it. How many times have you heard this is a "what have you done for me lately" league? And that's why I always use that sentiment, because even teams that start off 4-0 in September, oh, kudos. It's not good enough. It's a great start. It's not good enough. No, we're not just. You have to, and I say for the greatest teams, it's beyond 18. It's a 21-week season of perfection, and that's crazy. That's crazy to ask in the physical, diehard sport. 21 weeks of straight perfection is. And that's why you give kudos to the guys who are able to accomplish it. And one day that will be us very soon, speaking it into the future. But without diverting too much off of my point, let's get into the next topic. Because with everything we did, we had a round two. It was so crazy because I was asking, like, we went Tate. Oh, we thought we were going wide receiver the second round. That didn't happen. No one, like our man said, he would like to see, and if you're out there, please show yourself. He would like to see the person that actually got this mock draft correct. Because who and the Jesus. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we're still satisfied with the what we have. And that's why I keep emphasizing the fact of where we're at as far as leadership in the front office. Looking at Borgo running the ship. And now the next thing will be to see how the coaching staff actually implements everything come September once we get on the field. Because right now we're just getting the players. We're looking at what's on paper. But all of that has to be put together into a unit that can consistently show up throughout the whole season. And 10-7 is my thing, but that's not what we're here for. But saying that to say, we did our thing. We started off with a 1, 2, 3, 4. But I don't think we had a 4. Not sure. But we had a second and a third, which we didn't no longer have. So we didn't have a third pick or a fourth round pick. So we're getting to the fifth round pick 142 overall, Fernando Carmona. Carmona? Am I saying it was a Carmona? Carmona?
Carmona?
Anyone can correct me? Am I saying it right?
I say Carmona.
Carmona, yeah.
Carmona, okay.
Carmona.
Here's Carmona until we figure out that's what it is. Fernando Carmona, but offensive guard, because this is one of the positions that a lot of people were very worried about, center, guard, interior offensive lineman. We have an episode about it. I know that me and Jackson actually had a personal episode about it when we went into wide receiver depth and then interior offensive lineman depth. So this is the first pick addressing that concern for most people. Interior offensive lineman depth. okay, a developmental starter potential. And when you look at the addition of him coming in versus what we have, I do think it's a great addition to this group because, we could have slotted who the potential starters would have been. But beyond starters, if you're thinking about a great team, you also have to consider who's behind them. Who are they rotating with? Who is the depth? And so the fact that we have that, I think that's great. I think his fit can, help complete and compete, if you will, for the guard rotation position. But also it adds needed physicality on the inside. And, so when we're talking about protecting Cam, this is another weapon that I think has the potential to do exactly that. That's my sentiments and my takeaway from it. But round 5, pick 142nd overall, Fernando Carmona, offensive guard. I'll pass it on to the same rotation we've been going. How do you feel about this guy? How do you feel like he fits in the system? And how do you feel like he can actually affect and help and add value to the position group that he's joined? Let me see. I'll let you take it away, Ice.
Breaking news, guys. Breaking news right over here.
Well, Fernando Carmona, he is one of those picks that doesn't get headlines, but he is a major solution for our team. It's amazing how much value we're getting in the 5th round right here with this guy because, and I think it breaks up into two different categories here, like two different. There's a fork in the road here. He's either going to be a starter this year or he's going to be a backup. I mean, obviously, but I do think he's in contention for that starting job. That's going to be the hottest position battle on the offensive line this preseason, leading all the way up to the first week, I think. I do think Slater will probably be the guy just because he's got that year's experience, but it is wide open, really. I can't really truly put him in that position. So if he starts, I think that he's going to be impactful. He's going to be, they're going to go with the hot hand. So if he's doing good enough to start, he's doing something right. But he is a versatile offensive lineman. And I really keep thinking about Dennis Kelly. If you guys remember a few years ago, like he was like the Swiss Army knife on the offensive line. Whoever got hurt, he came in and he could fill that position. That's what he reminds me of. He is developmental, but experienced across all spots. And what he does for our team, how he adds value for us, is he can have that flexibility. Like I was just saying, he's an emergency fill-in for anybody on the offensive line. Injury insurance. That's what I think he is if he doesn't get that starting job. And I do think we're talking about year 1 here. I think, in the future, this guy looks like he could develop into something really, really nice. So that's what I think about him right now. And that's what I think he can be this year is that Dennis Kelly Swiss Army knife on the offensive line. But he might win that starting job. I think that's the point I was trying to drive home there.
I like that Kelly pull, man. That's pretty good. The thing about Fernando that I like that Borgonzi showed, right? I mean, this guy comes from the SEC. He has tons of starts. He has a lot of experience, like you said, across the line. And he's a nasty dude. He's a physical, nasty guy with an attitude. And I don't mean that necessarily to come across in a negative way, but you want your offensive linemen to be nasty. You want these guys to set the tone for your offense. And, you look back at our offensive lines in history and Titans lore when we've had those solid offensive lines that have been backed by 2,000-yard rushers. And these guys were tone setters. They came out and you knew, right? You knew that these guys were going to absolutely do the job. They were going to play that way. You look at like Lawan's attitude when he was out there, some of the things that he pulled. I mean, these are guys with a chip on their shoulder that's a unit and a group. And I think that's one thing that I kind of like, that it seems like we might have tapped in here. I mean, so much so that, Fernando had an incident in college that we've probably all seen where he stomped on that guy's ankle. And they asked him about it in the interview. And one thing that I thought was great is that he came out humbly and he said, hey, I'm not proud of it. I was highly embarrassed by it. I've learned from it. I went to coaching for it to try to basically channel my avenues of aggression, right? Know when that on-off switch is. And you got to, as an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, a lot of times you're playing through the whistle, but you got to know when to turn that off. And so I like that. I like that the guy at that age that's coming into the league has that kind of self-awareness from making a mistake. And so obviously if the front office liked his answer, then, as fans, I think we should like it too. And we should trust him until, maybe we see otherwise. But what I do like is they brought in the youth. They brought in the youth along with a guy that has a full gamut of starts in college. I mean, this isn't some guy that just had a 1-year flash. And so he has experience there. Now, I agree with you. I think that right guard position is going to be really contested in camp. So I look forward to seeing what Fernando can do there. I don't know what will happen, but I do like the fact that we're adding youth to the offensive line. We're adding competition and attitude. And that's what we need there.
Yeah. So I will be honest. Offensive lineman, don't watch a ton on him, but I did do some research on him after we drafted him, and some things that stood out. One, I was surprised because of the incident, but you're right. I think they probably did their due diligence or whatever, and he did own up to it. Just surprising from a Borgonzi as a GM. But the things that stood out to me from, and I might butcher this guy's name, Lance Zierlein, Zerlini, or something like that. Somewhere in that
all
realm.
of those, all of the above.
Every single one of them.
Can't be wrong.
He says strong, ultra durable, a willingness to brawl, and crunching. He accelerates into crunching blows, which all exhibit some of that stuff that we've been missing on the offensive line. So that aggression, I think, is going to bring some good stuff. And hopefully, I do think that he might not get the starter position immediately, but I definitely think he has starter potential.
Yeah.
I think you're muted, Bo.
You
Oh, we can't
muted,
figure it out.
bro.
Oh, he can't figure it out. There's something going on.
Unacceptable.
Leave and come back. What's that Denver shit? Leave and come back.
Is that any better? Can you hear me now?
There it is.
you go.
There it
The
is.
mute button was like blocked. I couldn't get to it for whatever reason. But anyway, what's interesting about him is he actually was at San Jose State at left tackle for 2 years. Then he transferred to Arkansas, and then they had him at guard, and that's where he started primarily playing, and that's when I think he took a step up. I'm like Ghost. I don't necessarily watch tons of film, but the 3 things I want from offensive linemen: durable, tough, nasty. Checks those 3 boxes. He doesn't miss games. Every year he started 49 of his 50 games. He played 1 year as a redshirt freshman. Then he started every season after, no matter where he went. Love that about him. I know that, the episode, whatever else, but I like little grittiness to my offensive lineman. It's not like he did it every game. He didn't stomp on hands and faces every time. He owned up for he wanted to be better forward, so it's not a recurring thing, but it lets me know that he's willing to be a little bit nasty. My comp, when I first looked at him after we drafted him, was a mix of a Ben Jones toughness with a Quentin Spain athlete that we've had from the past. Spain wasn't the most athletic, but he was smart and he was big enough to be able to hold his own. And he was a really good run blocker. And Fernando looks the same way, in my opinion, in a lot of those ways. He'll play through any of those, nicks and bruises. Every offensive lineman has them, and it shows that he's going to fight through them. Starting every single game that he did, essentially. I'm excited about him. I do think he's going to give competition. We'll see with the veterans that we signed and brought in where he's slotted, but he's going to get opportunity. Pretty much that right guard spot is open for competition as much as the center. Sloman, I think, is going to take it, but they're going to give looks at him. But I'm really excited to see what he does just from so many starts. I think he has a leg up on, an average rookie because of how many games he's played. And I think he comes in with that. And fun fact on that. So Arkansas, I looked into this. So Arkansas runs a zone blocking and power concept scheme. What do you think our O-line coach Priscilla runs?
Bingo. Same thing, brother.
Same thing. They found, it's not a square peg around hole. They found a guy that runs the exact same thing. They know what he excels at, what he does at. And I think it's a great pick. Everybody, including myself, every round that ticked by every guard and that was going, I was, sweating bullets. But I think they found great value in the 5th round for what he is. Fits the scheme, the toughness, everything they wanted. It was a Borgo pick, regardless. Just like all these guys were, all of them came with starts and leadership in some form or fashion. So I'm excited about what he can do.
One of the things you guys are going to notice today is Mike Berganzi trusting the board. And everybody was talking about, the Titans passed on Pregon. Everybody was starting to get worried, like you just mentioned, Val. And to me, I trust Mike Berganzi's board. I really trusted what he put on the table. And Fernando Feldos, it's funny enough, one of the mock drafts I did, I actually had Fernando Carmona actually going to the Titans, right? He's a very athletic guy. You guys mentioned he played tackle, he can play guard, wherever the Titans need to put him at, but the position-wise, that's where you can play, right? He's a Carmen Basilio type of player. And keep in mind, Zeitler is still not off the table. It's kind of 50-50. Do they want to bring him back? Do they want to let him go? But I do think Fernando Carmona is going to fight for the right guard spot. I think he's going to win it. Maybe not, but he's going to put some fight into that. And that's what he truly is. Shout out to realize to bring up the boy Dennis Kelly. Thanks for bringing up the boy. But no, I mean, I really do like him. He's a very good leadership type of offensive guard, and especially, it's funny enough, I have to figure out how old he was, but he's one of the oldest guys on the line. Think about that. This Tennessee Titans line is young, and that's something high to me. I think the thing is about Fernando Carmona is I kind of watched a little bit about him. He does everything right. He does have short arms though. That's probably the only thing that I've seen. But some people say he's over aggressive. But those are the two negatives I've really seen. But he plays nasty, versatility. And, man, Carmen Basilio is going to have some fun. I won't be surprised if there's a brawl start out on Friday or Saturday in camp.
First damn moment.
Camp. Oh, 100%. And just him going out there. But I'm very excited just to see what he can do and for him to get out there.
Another beautiful job, fellas. Like, honestly, lights out. I love this group, man. I truly love it. Going back to what you said, Ice, when you said the Dennis Kelly comp, beautiful. Perfect. Honestly, that's what he is, but he's at the guard position more so than anything else. And also, Jackson, you said something about Kevin Zeitler. Do you know who Kevin Zeitler's college O-line coach was?
Was it Basilio?
No.
No.
It was Pat Coogan's. We're going to talk about him soon.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was his coach. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. That made sense. Because if you look at them, they kind of, you can tell they nasty, hard-nosed, fundamental type of guys. Coogan, yes. So that, honestly, we're going to talk about him soon. So I'll leave that there. But when it comes to this young man, he's nasty. He's an asshole.
Nasty.
Like, sometimes you need an asshole.
Yeah, you too. That's good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing on your line, man.
What are you, like, we don't have one of those right now. They say Dan Morgan is, but I don't know. Is it more or Morgan?
More, Dan Moore, yeah.
More, yes.
You got it,
So when it comes to him, I don't think he is, just like Jackson was saying, I don't see him being that. We don't have one of those. So having him on this offensive line can really be beneficial. Truthfully, I don't think he's going to start. I like Jackson Slater starting. But if need be, I can see him coming in and just helping us out when it comes to it. He might win it. Who knows? But he's nasty. He is big as all get out. So he can move people. That situation that happened before, it was unfortunate, but he owned up to it. He didn't hide around it. He did what he had to do. He said what he had to say. And he moved forward when it came to it. So that's big. When it comes to my comps for him, as of right now, he's Zion Johnson. That's who he plays like. That's who he is. It's not a great comp, but that's who he is as of right now. If he gets a little bit better, I do see a little bit of Richie Incognito. I see that. So both of those nasty guys move people, great runners, run blockers when it comes to it. Questionable when it comes to pass, but he can still do what he has to do. Can get a couple Pro Bowls here or there. So I see that. But max out, I see Zach Martin. If he did everything perfect, everything the right way, I know you're looking like, yo, his comp's crazy today. I told you I'm going to do this. But if you max it out, that's what I'm thinking about when I do my comps, the max out value when it comes to it. What I see from his body work, that's the max out what I see. I see a Zach Martin, a guy that moved from tackle and went down to guard, and he excelled at it. Nasty, but contained himself and calmed down when it came to the being in the NFL level. That's something that he can do. So that's why I put that comp on there. Is he going to reach that 9 times out of 10 not, but it's still good for us Titan fans to know that it's possible. So when it comes to it, who wouldn't want a Zach Martin on their offensive line? So that's what I see max out value when it comes to him. He does have a lot of stuff he has to work on, but he's with the perfect offensive lineman coach to help when it comes to working on those techniques, hand factors, and little things when it comes to it. He's an asshole, though. Like I said before, we need an asshole on this offensive line. So if that's all he gives, hell, we'll take it. So
I know all about that, Coach. I know all about that. All right.
We will take it. We definitely will take it.
Stop, babe. Okay, let me take over right here. How you doing, folks? Hey, it's the two-tone bandit talking to you. How you doing? But no, look. All right, so look. This is what we do, man. Family have fun, and it's fun amongst family. But all of the picks have been great, have been wonderful. I'm just excited as everything you've heard. I mean, everything we've expressed is genuine. This isn't fluff or anything just to appease a fan base or to make you, feel. This is exactly how we feel. If we didn't like them, we would tell you. And we would tell you exactly how much we didn't like them. We believe in where we're at so far in the direction that we're headed. And I'm saying all that to say because I personally feel, like I said, I think we are, like I just said, very, 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 very much welcoming to all of the picks that we've drafted. But going into the next one right here, I would like to say that round 5, pick 165, Nick Singleton, running back. Okay. A lot of people would consider this the steal of our draft. Maybe not the steal of the draft, but the steal of our draft. And, Singleton is explosive. I mean, he's a change of pace back. He could develop into an RB1, RB2 for sure. I mean, especially be part of a committee, the way the NFL is developing nowadays. And I think this could really be our sleeper, like I said. But this is what I brought up right here. So what I brought up for Nick is I have his college stats. So for those who don't know, he played in 12 games. He had 199 carries. Rushing yards, he had 1,372. Averaged 6.9 yards per carry. Had a total of 18 total rushing touchdowns. Longest run was 94 yards. Okay. Receiving. Oh, you thought he was a one-style back. No. Receiving. 27 receptions for 280 yards. Averaging 10.4 yards per catch with a total of 3. So 21 touchdowns total on last season's record for Mr. Injured Foot, Nick Singleton, since they want to throw that out there. But nonetheless, look, I feel like he's a steal of the draft, and I'm pretty sure my colleagues will feel the same way. We're going to break it down. We're going to go the same. Well, we've had some people playing double dutch a little bit. So, kind of what you see is what you get. It's going to go Ice Van, Ghost, Coach, Bo, and Jackson. So we'll go in that order as you see. But, hey, that's my sentiments. I'll let the guys tell you theirs. Ice, you know what it is, brother. The floor is yours.
Well, just like everybody, I think we're all excited about Nick Singleton. He was his production was elite in college, but I do think we need to pump the brakes a little bit. I'm not saying that he can't be something great. He is explosive. He's a big play running back. He's a home run threat when he's healthy. Keyword healthy. How he fits. He is. I think he. Before I say that, I want to say this. It's very important with the bone he broke in his foot for that to fully, completely heal before he can reach his top speed again. That's something that has been talked about a few times, and I'm not saying that for the first time. I'm just reiterating what's already been said by the national media many times. He needs to get fully healthy. And for that reason, how he fits with us is I think that he's going to be used, but I think he's more of a second half of the season threat than he is the first half. I think he's like a running back in waiting. Okay. He's going to be running back 3 behind Pollard and Spears to start out. And he's going to be a rotational big play option. But I think he's going to take some time to learn the offense and kind of ease his way in, depending on his health and his foot. And I realized he was healthy and he replayed last year, but he wasn't his full self that he was in 2024. I don't think you can deny that. I mean, obviously Penn State had their issues, and a lot of the difference between 24 and 25 can definitely be attributed to the fact that they just bombed last year. They had so many other issues. Of course, it's going to affect the running game. So not to mention Drew Aller injury and all that. So yeah, there's definitely other things going on, but I don't feel like he's 100%, and I don't think he has been since 2024. So I feel like he is going to start as the number 3 and work his way up. I do think I see a potential for him to be the number 1 back, and when he gets there and he's healthy, I mean, the sky's the limit with this kid. I mean, he broke records. So I don't want to take all the talking points here, but I think that's where I see him for us.
Good points, man. Very good points. So for me, this is probably a tie for the second favorite pick of the draft. And the reason I'll tell you is because the word judge came up to me. And that's because this guy has home run potential. And what I wanted so badly moving into this draft for the offense and for this team was an explosive play potential. And so this guy brings it. A couple of things that really stood out to me. He was the first player in the Big Ten to get 5,000 all-purpose yards and over 50 touchdowns since Jonathan Taylor. He was the first one to do it since Jonathan Taylor. That's some pretty elite company. The other thing is, you made a great point about his fracture, and I totally agree with that. This guy has speed, right? They tracked him at top speed, 23.5 miles an hour. Now, to give you a comparison, there was one Tyreek Hill on a kickoff return that reached 23.24 miles an hour. And this guy has speed. He has the ability to turn a corner, to get a hole, and to beat the defensive secondary and make a big explosive play. That's something I absolutely love about that potential that he comes out with. He broke Saquon's records. We know all of the talking points that we've seen about his collegiate career, but this guy knows how to find the end zone. And on a team that desperately needs to find the end zone, I think that is an added value. And I agree, Ice. I think this is somebody that I would see as maybe a second half of the year type player, dependent upon what happens with Tony and Tajay in front of him. God forbid anything happens to those guys. I don't want it to. And I think that's a great spot for him to come into. But I really love his athleticism, his build. And, when I was watching his tape right after we drafted him, he reminded me immediately of, and Borgo said this, so I'm not trying to steal it, but he reminded me of Isaiah Pacheco. And I think the easy thing was he wears 10 and Pacheco wore 10 in Kansas City. So but his physicality, the way he runs angry, the way he drives through, the way he finds the end zone, his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and make plays, it was very similar to me. I felt like I was watching the same type of highlight tape. So I think it's an incredible value for us if he works out in the 5th round. And just to end my point here, what I love is the conviction, right? Borgo has said, I don't want to draft guys that my coaches don't want to coach. And when you see these guys on the tape, Saleh gets on the phone and says, we're holding our breath for 20 picks. I believe that, dude. Then you see Jordan get on there and say, man, I'm so blank and excited, dude. I can't wait. This is a running back coach that is just chomping at the bit to get this guy in and work with him. That as a fan should make us all really excited about the trajectory of that running back room and how he can impact our team. So I'm stoked, man. I think it's a great pick, and I'm excited to see what he can do on our team.
This is another one. This one will probably be my last one, guys. I'm gonna have to hop off after this one, but I'll see it through. The other people talking, but I'm excited about this one too. You guys touched on the speed. Like when I was watching some of his highlights and stuff, man, it wasn't just like oh, he's pretty quick. Like at the back, like on that back end of his plays, like he's pulling away from people. Like, usually they're getting angles and like catching you, but this guy's pulling away, like heading into the end zone. He's good. He's a pass catching threat, which is nice to have. Obviously he's got to heal up and everything like that, but also he was a full-time kick returner, so if DK goes down, we can use him in that way. So it's nice to have some kind of backup on that, or maybe somebody who could maybe give DK a break on that. Let DK kind of focus on the wide receiver position in some instances. And but yeah, but to get somebody to get that, I don't even want to say it's a consolation prize. I think that's because obviously we were all on the Love train or whatever. I don't know that there was another back in the draft that provided what Love could have provided early on, but at a lesser level. But I'm very excited for him. For sure. I hate that we're calling it the Love train now, by the way. Thanks a lot, guys.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
That's what makes it worse.
I was not on that Love train that he's talking about.
You were on that Sonny Styles caboose, is what you were on.
No caboose. He was the engine.
Coach, what do you got?
It's interesting with him because he catches the ball like White from Tampa Bay. I believe he's with Washington now. And he runs the ball like Nick Chubb's. And it's extremely weird, the combination when it comes to him when he's healthy. He has up and down years every other year because he had the big freshman year, the down sophomore year, the big junior year, and now the down senior year. So maybe he's going to have a great rookie year with us. So on a positive tip, he needs to work on his vision. I'm a former running back, so I'm going to keep on saying that, even though I was a D3 running back. It's fine. But me being a former running back, you got to get a feel for your own line. You got to realize, I got to hit off his butt. I got to hit that lane because I know the linebacker is X, Y, and Z away from me. So it's like little things like that. You can tell he's just so used to relying on his speed more so than his intangibles and his intelligence. So working on that with Randy Johns or Jordan would be perfect, who was our running back coach. It's going to make sense because that's what he specializes in. So he's going to be a one cut in a cloud of dust type of guy. He can do it though. I'm excited for it. I want to see him in the system, just like you guys. I don't want to see him on this field no time soon though. I want him to wait. I want him to heal and get better. We have running backs right now that can do it. Let's wait until you've fully healed up because I don't want it to be a bigger issue throughout your career. Other than that, he's nasty. He can pull away from you, like you guys said. He can catch the ball. He can do everything you ask for a 3-down back. He can be a Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears combined if healthy. But the question is, can he stay healthy in this league? Can he stay healthy? We got to wait. We got to make sure he stays healthy. As of right now, he does remind me, like you said, of Isaiah Pacheco. He runs just like him to a certain extent, but he can catch better than him. Ice, you're going to get upset. No, you're not going to get upset. You might get upset. My max out comp is Terrell Davis. That's my max out. Again, my max out. I say max out when everything goes perfect. Everything has to go perfect. He has to develop, take time for that foot to heal. He has to be in the weight room. He has to do all this other stuff. But I see it for the max out. You might not get another great max. Oh, no, you're going to get one more. Because I know the guy that I like and you like, Ice, that comp that we're going to give him is probably going to be the same. Pat. I'm talking about Pat. But we can talk about that later. Okay. But when it comes to this running back, I feel like he can be really, really good. He can be legendary if everything goes properly. If the health situation develops and he's in that weight room, he's doing what he got to do. He can be really, really good. So I look forward to seeing him in the system, but he still has a lot to work on.
Yeah, it's funny as I thought about Rachaad White too, Coach Murphy. I think he's a better pass catcher than Pacheco, but he runs with that same intensity that Pacheco runs with. He runs with that same energy and anger. It's like, Pacheco's rookie year, they said he ran, anger, though, the feet looked like it was going through the ground. And he reminds me of that, but I think he's a better pass catcher than Pacheco was. It was interesting because I looked at NFL's next gen stats. It's kind of fun to look at them and see where they're at. And they ranked him first on athleticism score for running backs, higher than Love, which would surprise me a little bit. But when you look at his athleticism and his speed, it makes sense. But Love is an overall more productive player, of course. His foot, it almost makes me feel like they're almost treating him like a redshirt year because of the health. Like they want to let him develop and grow and get healthy first, where he may not get many opportunities until the back half of the year, like I said, talked about. I think, you have the running backs from Tony and Tajay, and I think some have forgot about Mullings as far as short, yardage runs. I think he's our biggest backer now. And I think he could do decent if we need him to. And Michael Carter, we brought him in too. He's another pass catching type back. And so you have all these guys in front where, we don't know where his foot is at, but I could see them easily putting him on the PUP list to start training camp if it's not fully healthy, and easily just let him take his time to get healthy. We may not even have to worry about him being on the 53 or anything until we're already into the season, until he's healthy. So be interesting where his foot is at, where that's at. But I think we all knew going into the draft we needed a running back, but if it wasn't Love, I didn't think we were going anything. Borgo had the perfect poker face. He said, I don't like any other running back outside of Love. I don't like none of them.
Yeah.
And the perfect draft, like I said, we shouldn't have trusted the damn thing we said. We should have thought we loved a lot of them. But it's just one of those things where, he got him and it surprised us. But then when you look at it, it makes more sense as it's, marinated. So I really like what he can be. I do like the Terrell Davis comp if he were to ever get, maxed out that level. I do think that he can be more of a Pacheco base, but if he gets healthy, I think he'll be better than Pacheco just because of the better pass catching downs that he can do for him. It'll be interesting to see what he does, but I think that they need to slow play it with him, and he needs to be 100% healthy for a while before just throwing him to the wolves, so to say, because we know those foot injuries for a running back, that's one of the worst injuries you can have. You need to make sure it's healed properly. And I'm going to say real quick too, I think I'm with Ghost. This might be my last one. I have to be a dad after all this, but just want to let that be known.
Yeah, you brought up Bow. You brought it up. I didn't know if they were going to take a running back, and Singleton, Mike Washington, and Katron Allen are all on my list. Borgonzi describes Singleton as a fast, doable, angry running back, and he says he's a bigger type of Tony Pollard, right? Tony and Tajay are on the last years of their deal, right? We don't know what's going to happen to them. We don't know if maybe one decides to. I expect both to stay for now, but you never know what can happen. Spears has had some injury troubles, especially a couple years ago. So you're kind of wondering, okay, what's Singleton going to bring? Singleton's had some injury trouble. Singleton is a very great special teams type of player, right? I think realize someone brought up, forgot, but he can potentially take off kick returners, right? And he can take a little bit of less stress off of DK. I can help him out just a little bit more. I remember watching him when he faced USC just a couple years ago. I'm like, who the heck is this guy? I remember just him running over a couple USC linebackers. I'm just like, dang, this guy has a lot of speed. Injuries did hurt him. Again, Penn State's offense fell apart last year. The firing of James Franklin, that was a whole reset, and that whole thing destroyed him. But if he can return something to his 2024 self and just be productive, I expect him to be a lot on the goal line, red zone threats, right? The Titans need touchdowns, and they didn't get very many from the running backs last year, right? Top of my head, I think only Tony got 5. I don't know if Tajay even got any on the ground last year. So I expect for him to be a lot productive. He's very burst from the line on the backfield, good hands. he reduced his fumbles last year, and I know the injuries come into play, but if you're really thinking about it, I think Singleton can be possibly competing for that third running back spot, right? We got Carter, who we signed, who could be potentially be on that roster. We got 7 running backs in the room, and I'm kind of disappointing in Mullings because he's going to lose a lot more playing time, but Singleton, I think, is going to come in there. I think he's going to earn a spot for the roster. Again, be careful with the injuries. But again, I have very full confidence. I do like him as a player. I think he's going to fit in this offense really great. And, I'm not going to say just because, he's going to be Saquon, but what happened last time when Dable had a Penn State running back and Saquon Barkley. So I think he's going to like him on his offense. I'm very high on Singleton. I'm excited to see what he can produce. I got the college right this time with the Saquon because I think I did. I thought about it for a second. I didn't look it up. I was like, I'm pretty sure he went to Penn State. So I'm glad I got that right.
Yeah. He went to Penn State. Matter of fact, if you know what, we can pop it in if somebody want to do the quick research. But I actually saw something where he outdid a lot of things that I think. Matter of fact, I want to say he beat Barkley's Penn State record as far as yards.
He broke Saquon's records. Yep.
Okay, there it is. Okay. Hey, like I said, could be potential steal of the draft. I'm excited about the guy. I'm just because I guess when I evaluate these things, I never evaluate things on a singular level. I think the only person that I can give that to is Borgonzi because he's running the helm and bringing the picks in and kind of controlling the roster. So there's really no take either you get it right or you don't, you understand or you don't. And that's why that's the position that it is. But the coaches have to deal with the players that the GM brings in, and the players have to deal with the system that the coach is trying to implement. So a lot of that is intangibles, but but to me, I still look at it as one collective, system. If you has to work, and from what I'm seeing, it seems like for the first time in a long time, we're actually being birthed into a system where everything has the potential to actually work and gel together, and that's the most exciting part of everything that I'm seeing since the Borgonzi hire, especially since the new coach regime. And yeah, I'm just gonna move straight to the next 6.
I'm gonna head out, boys.
184. Okay, so at 184.
See you, Ghost.
Later.
Okay. All right. Yeah, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Later,
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Gotcha. So we're going into 184. Jackie Marshall, defensive tackle. I think this is great value here. A good rotational defensive lineman, interior specifically. The fit I see here, he can be an early run stopper. And he adds depth to, like I said, the defensive line. It'll be a great rotational piece. I think that Robert Saleh will be able to help him develop. I think Jeffrey Simmons and the guys like JFM, even Solomon Thomas, a lot of these, he's coming into a lot of veterans, and I think that's what they saw within the pick as well. Not just trying to bring a guy in that has to perform immediately. So being able to take a flyer on a guy this late that has this potential, bringing him in with the coaching staff that can help definitely get him there. And then looking at the players that you're surrounding him around definitely gives this pick from the draft for us a lot better potential to succeed than a lot of the other picks that we've had into certain position groups in previous drafts before. And so when you look at how all of that's being assimilated and put together, I really feel good about Jackie Marshall. I believe you mentioned him earlier, Coach Murph, or someone did. I think it was Murph that mentioned it. But yeah, Jackie. And something else, and I'm gonna just do my bandit thing right here. You can't play with guys named Jackie. You can't. You can't. Name a guy named Jackie who played that. I promise you. Look, it's a flip of a coin with a Jackie. Either Jackie soft or Jackie don't play that. I feel like we got a Jackie. You can't play with Jackie. So I would just say I think we got the right Jackie. Time will tell. Nonetheless, if I'm wrong, hey, it is what it is. I'll die on that hill. But I do think this is good, especially to see them continuing to add to the defensive tackle and interior defensive line position. They're really trying to build for depth, got great pieces. This is great for Jeff Simmons and JFM because it gives them rotational pieces that can give them a break in between. Maybe you take JFM out one play, maybe Jeff out for one play, let them keep a breath and keep this guy in, maybe on the early downs and get them fresh for when it really matters. But without taking too much away from it, we're going to go back into the same rotation of how we were going. But yeah, look, Ice, do your thing, brother. Take it away. Jackie Marshall, because that's look. Matter of fact, go ahead. I'm gonna let you do it, but I just got to introduce it. Alumni out of Marshall University. Real Ice Titan representing. He got to get that jersey. Do your thing, brother. But I'm going to let you take it away. And go ahead and do that too, man. Come in with that, man. Let them people know, man, the connection between, Marshall and let them know what it is. But the floor is yours, brother. Take it away.
You brought up an interesting point there. I did say that because when he was drafted, the last name Marshall, I went to Marshall. I'm a Marshall alumni. So I thought I got to get this jersey. But spoiler alert, the very next pick we had totally killed that idea. Well, not that I won't eventually get it, but the next pick we have is the jersey I'm getting. But let's not focus on that. Let's focus on Jackie Marshall. He's not coming in here to be a star. He is coming in here to be to give the D line a punch, and he is a versatile, high effort defensive lineman. He's a rotational glue guy. He fits the defensive rotation inside and out. He's not too big. He's got that size to where it's kind of like Keldric. He can play on the ends, and that's the Robert Saleh prototype is the guy who can play everywhere. And but he's going to play on the D tackle position most of the time. He's here to keep the starters fresh. He supports all the different defensive fronts that we're going to be running. But what he really does for us, he's just depth. This guy is a really good depth piece. He is a snap fatigue player late in games. He's going to take those dirty snaps away from guys like Jeff Simmons. So when he comes back in and he has time to get those good snaps, and we got our good guys available. And just that scheme flexibility I've already mentioned. Like he's going to be playing in all different. It's not like you have to take out these solid guys and put in different ones depending on what you're doing. That's what's so important about these guys that they're drafting, and that's what we mean when we say versatile and he can play any position and he can play different defensive fronts. That's what we mean is that we don't have to change our personnel depending on what we're doing. We can swap what we're doing right in the middle of the field, and we don't have to get anybody off. So when the offense thinks they're going to pull a fast one and come out in 12 personnel or something, and then they pull a fast one on us and start throwing the ball around or something, we're ready for that. So I think that's what he does for us. He's that glue player. He can bounce around. It's a lot like Keldric, except Keldric is just a better version, I think. So I don't want to take any more than I've already took. Bandit, he was taking all my talking points away. I had to start switching up my words a little bit there. That's why I was too late. Go ahead, man.
Man, I think with Jackie, what better position would you want to be if you're a young cat with some drive coming into an NFL opportunity as a late round pick than this one? You're coming into a room with currently 20 D linemen rolling into camp, and you got guys like JFM and Big Jeff and Solomon Thomas ahead of you to model, kind of your NFL career and your approach and attitude. One thing that stood out to me about Jackie was a story I heard where, he came from Baylor, he wore number 0, and at Baylor you have to earn that 0, and that 0 is given to the player that earns it from votes from his teammates, a guy that displays certain characteristics and work ethic and all the stuff that matter to the Baylor team and university and that football program. And that's pretty cool, right? Because you got a lot of guys on a college program, a lot of guys on a college defense, and he's the guy that modeled that. He's the guy that his teammates stood up for and said, "Yeah, man, let's give him that 0." I think that's pretty cool. I think Jackie has a lot of good traits about him. He has quick feet. He knows how to plug up some zones, some gaps. And I think you hit it, on the nail on the head, right? We need depth pieces. But to me, this is still a guy that's going to have to come in. And this differs a little bit from the other rooms with late round picks that we're discussing, at least in my mind, because this one's so packed. And I think that he's going to have to come in and he's going to have to fight for a spot and he's going to have to prove it. Now, he has a great opportunity to do it, but I look forward to see if he can actually do that. So I think, hey, sky's the limit for him. And now he's just got to prove it. I look forward to seeing what he can do.
Oh, you're muted.
Can you hear me?
You good, Coach?
Good.
Yeah, we heard you the first time. I don't act like nothing wrong with you, Mike. I'm getting nervous now.
Tierra Tart. He's Tierra Tart. That's what he is right now, in my opinion. If you look at him, he looks just like him. He moves just like him. He will get in the rushing lanes at a volume that we haven't seen on this team in a while, other than Big Jeff, of course. But he's going to be a great depth piece, like you guys said. He's talented. He's big. He's hungry. He's deserving of this opportunity in which he's going to get, like you said, Van. When it comes to what he did at Baylor, earning that number 0, he's willing to earn whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. When it comes to my comp for him, like I said, it's Tierra Tart as of right now, and if he gets a little bit better. But another Tennessee legend, if he maxes out, Jarrell Casey. That's what I see in this man. He's a bigger Jarrell Casey. He is a quicker one, but he's not as strong, of course. And he doesn't have the intangibles as of now that Casey had, because Casey just happened to just fall with tackles in his hand. Like, he was so good when it comes to run defense, when it comes to sacks. He was everything that a Tennessee Titan defensive lineman would be. You would want a Tennessee Titan defensive lineman to be. So hopefully Jackie comes in here and he builds his way up to that level. Of course, he's not there now, but he can get to that point. And I would love to see that. So that's what I feel about him.
I feel like Jackie was one of the guys who did not really get enough recognition because of the guy right behind him guy right next to him who got picked. So everyone was focusing on Coogan more than Marshall. I do like it. I mean, you can never have too much depth on the defensive line and the offensive line. You need as much depth as possible. And Jackie Marshall can go inside, outside, wherever you need him to go. And, Salah's really going to do some good stuff with them. I know Gus Bradley was a huge fan of him. I know they really did like when they brought him in to the building. Obviously, he's not going to show much on table, but he's going to impact wherever he's going to go, and he is a fast, twitchy type of guy. I'm really excited to see him again. He started 24 out of 37 games. So he's highly productive as a starter. He can start for you if you definitely need. He's definitely going to come in a lot. Again, Salah, like I said earlier, going to rotate a lot on that defensive line. I'm excited for Jackie Marshall. His 4.68 short shuttle led all defensive linemen at the NFL Combine in this class. So very excited to see what he can do. But I mean, obviously, again, I know this defensive line is loaded. There's a lot of bodies in there. It's going to take some pressure off of JFM, and let's just say we do have an injury, and someone's has an injury in the middle of the game, and you need some depth on the outside. That's where Jackie can go. So it's versatile, can go anywhere, and it raises a big question, especially what's going to happen to Femi, and we'll kind of deep dive in that later. That room is crowded, so what's going to happen, we don't know yet. But Jackie's going to be a pretty big role.
I think he's going to slide back, bro. I think he's going to
inside. You think he's going to go back inside linebacker?
I think he might go to outside. Honestly, I don't know, because I don't know how they feel about Jamal Williams. So that hasn't come into
that guy. Yeah.
Well, I said Jamal Williams. Damn, y'all been letting me say that the whole time, man.
No, it's okay.
James Williams. I said Jamal before. James Williams.
I didn't notice it.
I didn't notice it either. I think I was just zoned out.
Or I might have. I don't know, man. I'm sleepy.
I noticed
all day, bro.
We're tired, bro. We're tired. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
We working, man. We working, and man. I love this group.
I'm up. That's why I'm the bandit. It's love. You got it.
That's why you got the glasses on now, because you can't see, because your eyes red, because you're sleepy.
No, I need that clip. I need that blooper, man. We trying
I'll tell you. But seriously, guys, I don't know how they feel about Williams when it comes to that linebacker room. So he might bounce back down. I mean, bounce back a little bit. He's going to play on his team, but we just don't know where he's going to play.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good problem to have. Good problem to have.
Great problem.
You know what I'm saying?
You need depth.
So when these. A lot of these positions that we've been discussing have been a huge thing of concern, especially when you come to the lackluster of depth that we've had over recently. So, and then, like you said, tomorrow when we really get into the UDF A's that they brought, I mean that, and this is another thing, and I'm not going to go too deep in that, but looking at what they're doing, we've done this before. But now what you have is a new regime evaluating the talent, being able to look and see certain intangibles that maybe the old coaching staff overlooked or didn't see or didn't play properly. It's the only reason, because outside of his first season, Tajay Spears has not reached the production that we all feel like he can. We saw sample size, and we still holding on to a little hope that he can at least come through and give us some type of value, because we saw how he was. And then we were like, why are you not playing? How many receivers have we had? Why are you not throwing to? Why are you not getting him open? Why are you not giving him the ball? Why are you not doing this, that, and the third? So, I'm looking at the new regime like, okay, well, maybe they have a new vision. And having as much experience that they have, and honestly, most of the people on this staff, team, GM, and coaches have a lot to prove. I think that they will find a way to put all that together and get the best out of these players. So whoever makes it from this, undrafted free agency list, I think will actually be true dogs. So, going to Ice's favorite person.
Not just Ice, bro.
Mr. Pat Coogan. Let's go. Look, Pat Coogan. And honestly, Ice and I have already pretty much solidified the agreement that we feel like Austin Schlottman is the center, moving forward. And I still think that's the case. Because like I was just telling a guy I was previously talking to, it's funny to me how people would judge, Femi because of his sample size. So I'm like, how can you come to a judgment on Semi and his sample size, but when you look at Schlottman's sample size, it's not good enough? Pick if you're going to grade sample size or not. If you're going to say Femi isn't good enough because he did, well then, come on now. Then you have to say that Schlottman is great because his sample size gave you 0 sacks and 3 pressures on all those.
Great point.
Like, what are we talking about? This is what people are not consistent. It shows emotion and inconsistency when people are evaluating what's really going on the roster. But nonetheless, I digress from my point. And let's get into Pat Coogan because I think this is a great value pick. I don't know if it's a mock draft we had where we didn't pick up Coogan. And he's always been right here where we picked him at, late in the round. I think this is a smart depth pick. I think he is great for a backup center position with great starter upside. I also think he helps stabilize the interior offensive line depth, however you really want to look at it. And for everyone, like we said, we were talking about Carmona earlier, and then, we got Coogan, and, just looking at a lot of the pieces that we brought in free agency and in the draft, we wondered what's going on with the interior offensive lineman. Well, here you go. Okay, here you go. Let's see. I'm satisfied. Shoot the messenger if you will. I'll let the rest of the people tell you how they feel. Ice, take the floor. It's yours, brother. Pat Coogan, talk to him.
We have been going for an hour and 42 minutes, and I've been waiting on this moment the entire time. I'm just going to say that right now. Okay, so Pat Coogan is my favorite pick that we had. The coach is talking about sweating for Nick Singleton. I was sweating for Pat Coogan. Okay, like I get like Carnell Tate is going to be great for us, and I love him and everything, but Pat Coogan, I said this to I don't know who I said it to. I don't remember. It was this morning. I said it in a message to somebody. I said, I think that we're living in an alternate dimension, and in the actual, like the main dimension, the main reality, Pat Coogan was a top 10 pick. Now you guys are going to say you sounding crazy, but hear me out. Hear me out. So I don't know why he fell to where he did, because he is everything that I have ever wanted in a center. Okay, even any offensive lineman, much less a center, because the center is your quarterback of the offensive line. So that's what he is. He's a smart, experienced interior lineman. He's a communication-driven center. He's had a million starts. He's played on 2 national championships. He played with Carnell in high school. Just to put icing on the cake, so he already knows one of the guys. He fits because he competes immediately with Austin Schlottman, and I think that, oh man, I'm telling you, it's like I'm in a battle with myself because half of me says Coogan's winning this job. Like, there's no way he can keep him off the field, but the one thing that Austin Schlottman has. And you know how much I've been beating this Schlottman drum. Like, for me to even think that this is possible that Coogan wins the job says I must be a big fan of Coogan. But Austin Schlottman played with Brian Dable in New York. He knows the offense. He knows the scheme. Like he's got a big jump on Coogan right now. So maybe to start the season, he's the guy. But if you see any slip ups with Austin Schlottman, you best believe here comes Coogan, and he ain't coming out. Once he comes in, it's over. And I hate to steal this from Coach Murph because I know he's going to say it, but I posted a post day before yesterday, or maybe it was yesterday. I can't remember. It's got almost 17,000, not quite that many views, and almost 500 likes right now. Like, and what I said was, if you liked Ben Jones as the Titans center, then you will love Pat Coogan.
Yes.
And I was just like it was like a late night thought. I really meant it, but I did not expect it to go. Like, for me, that's a little bit viral. I did not expect it to get that much attention. Okay, but it did. Like, apparently people liked that comment, and so I think that he is going to give us clarity at center. We haven't had a good center since Ben Jones. And when he left, I think we all had that cringe moment, like, oh, you can't do this, we knew what was coming. There's no way you can replace Ben Jones. So, we got a guy it feels like he's in his 8th season, like Schlottman. It feels like he's been around several years already. This dude's a rookie. Like, he's got so much experience. He's so composed, but yet he's such a leader. And I mean, it just feels like that he is going to take command of that offensive line as soon as he gets in there. I mean, it would not surprise me if this dude ends up being a Hall of Famer. I'm not even joking. Like, I know that you might say, like, you're a little bit off the rails. Like, you need to calm it down a little bit. No, I mean, this is the one guy that I'm putting myself out there on Pat Coogan. Like, we found a diamond in the rough for real. And that's how I feel about him.
I love this pick, man. And like Bandit said, we mocked this guy almost every time, I feel like. And the one thing I think is so glaring to me, right? This guy has experience, starts over starts. He had, I think it was 13 starts at guard. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Notre
at
Dame,
Notre Dame. Yeah. And then he went over to center, and then he went over to Indiana. And obviously we saw what he did at Indiana in a great system. Clearly, national championship pedigree. He won the MVP of the Rose Bowl, which was the first time an offensive lineman's done that, I think, since 1944, which is insane. And he did that in 2025 or whenever, which, 2020, whenever it was. It's the 2020s, for goodness sakes. All we care about is the flash plays. And this is a guy that earned that. After he was picked, and these clips go out of him leading his Notre Dame line mates out of the tunnel, talking about emptying the clip on these guys and saying stuff I can't say on this podcast. It absolutely lit me up. And one thing that I thought of was, it's going to be tough for this guy. You hear him talk, you hear his pressers, you hear his call. Everything about him says, I'm ready to come in and win this job. I'm ready to come in and prove myself, compete. I believe in myself. I can do this. And you think about a dog like that with that mentality. I referenced it back when we talked about the other pick. We want these guys on the offensive line to have that mentality. And you think about a guy at the center position with the link and the importance of that relationship with a Cam Ward type mentality and a Cam Ward personality. That's going to be, I look at those two vibing off of one another incredibly well, very quickly. And Ice is right. Schlottman has a huge leg up coming from the Giants, coming from Dayball's system, being able to make those calls, call out the defense. That's a huge leg up. But Coogan's a smart dude. I mean, he has proven he is a smart guy. And where he lacks physically, they talk about short arm length and otherwise, he makes up for with intellect. And, for me, when you look at great centers and Hall of Fame centers, I think people like Jeff Saturday and people like Jason Kelsey and these guys that are literally captains, and they pair with their quarterbacks. And this is who this guy reminds me of. And this, I believe, first off, the center is never the superstar of the offensive line, but he is absolutely primary and prime point. And I think this is something that Coogan can come in and compete with immediately. And to be honest with you, it would not surprise me if he won the job. But I agree with you, Ice. When he goes in there, I don't think the guy's coming back out. And it was one of my favorite picks. I think it is an excellent pickup. I'm really high on this guy. I think he's great.
Sorry, Coach.
Both of you guys. All right, so I knew he was going to say Kelsey. So I said, all right, I got to find another comp. And I already knew in my head the other comp. He said, he just said it. Van just said it. He's a combination of Kelsey and Saturday, but he's bigger. He's bigger. His arms are slightly smaller, but at the center position, it doesn't really affect it as much. His intelligence is off the grid. Like, this kid he's everything that you would want an offensive lineman to be. Every single thing. If you're a Titan fan, he is Ben Jones and what's the guy that we lost to Miami? He went Aaron Brewer.
Oh, Brewer, yeah.
He's a combination of that, but better. If you're a strong Titan fan and you want to go like that, that's exactly what he is. But he's way better. He's Jeff Saturday and Jason Kelsey combined in one, but bigger. Hey, I don't know what else to say about this guy. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. So when you said that,
I forgot about that.
Nothing about that surprised me, bro. Like, absolutely nothing about that surprised me. Van, what you said, nothing about it surprised me. When we draft this guy 6, I forgot that he was on the board because I thought he got drafted. It was a part of the draft that I missed, and I thought he was off the board. We got him in that round. He's going to have a gold jacket one day. He's that damn good. He's going to be a starter for 10 years plus. He is going to be Cam Ward's best friend. I promise you, if Austin lets this man see the field, it's over. And it's not even going to be close. And I'm fine with that because Austin can play guard too. He can be a backup guard. He can do whatever. But he's not going to touch the field. He is that intelligent. He is that much of a leader. Balls to the wall. Whatever you want. Empty the clip. Bro, when he said that, I just was like, the Marine of me just screamed. So it's just like everything about him is perfect. I'm getting the jersey too, bro. He's going to be that. He's going to be the first offensive lineman that I get jersey that I've ever bought, bro. Yeah. Like Jack, same way. So it's just he's that good. I'm that excited. He's my favorite pick from the Tennessee Titans in the last 10 years, other than Cam Ward, without a shadow of a doubt.
I agree.
And I'm not even bull-ishing you. I'm telling you what it is. His film is beautiful. Everything about him is beautiful. And the fact, you guys, I know Ice. We talked about Wagner before. He's a UDA. We're going to get in here. Wagner is legit, and they're the same person. So certain mentality-wise, they're the same person. Body-wise, a little bit different. Watch out for him, too. That combination, him at right tackle, oh, man. I'm 100% okay, bro. I am 100% okay with our O-line. Jax.
I hate to give credit to people who came out of Notre Dame. I cannot stand Notre Dame, but if it's one guy, it's Pat Coogan. This guy is an absolute menace, is an absolute dog on the field. Look, the thing about Pat Coogan is Ice and I said this is one of our favorite guys. We've had him in 99.9% in our mock drafts, and I'm 100% confident saying that. Look, man, to keep it real with y'all, we will see over time what's going to happen with Slottman. We will see if he's going to start or not. If you're asking me today on the spot, yes, I'm saying he'll start. But there is going to be competition. There's going to be a competition in that room. Slottman's not going to get it right away. I don't think if Zeitler comes back, he's going to get it right away. I don't think Slater's going to get it right away. There's competition with these two guys that I'm like, man, I'm very excited. And, thinking, like, again, we're talking about Carmona, day 3, you have to think about, okay, the biggest needs you have to address today is at least find one guard and find one center. And, man, they did that. And, boy, I was at work and, same thing with you, Murph. I kind of missed that part when Coogan got drafted. When I saw the notification, I was like, dude, let's freaking go. Like, and it reminds me of Ben Jones. Like, right? Exactly. I couldn't act like that in front of customers, but I was like, dude, let's go. Like, I'm so pumped. He reminds me like Ben Jones. I remember watching Ben Jones when I was a young kid. I watched not as much as Jeff Saturday because I'm a little more younger, but Jeff Saturday, Jason Kelsey, brother, this guy is going to start 10 years for the Tennessee Titans. And he's this guy, when you get in this room, he has the size, 6'5", over 311. The thing that's still questionable, he's not athletic, which maybe might have the reason why a little more shorter arms as an offensive lineman. But dude can bully you. He's going to bully. He's going to talk some smack against some guys in that South. And some guys in that South are going to get tired of him in the next 5 or 10 years. The Texans are going to get tired of just facing the Titans just twice a year because you're going to see Coogan. But this is my favorite pick, man. This is a reliable guy on the offensive line. Only allowed 1 sack in the last 2 years. And let me tell you this. Rose Bowl MVP as offensive lineman is rare, like Van said. It never happens on the offensive line. And dude, just to see that, I was thinking to myself, because I told my dad, like, this is like 2 months before the draft. I said, Dad, if we get Pat Coogan as center, man, that's I'm buying jersey. I'm buying. And you know what? It's coming. Once we figure out the numbers, that's who's coming. But no, my favorite pick. I love this guy. Just to keep it short and simple, this guy is gonna have a chance to start. And when I saw this and I watched more of him, I was like, dude, sign me up. And you brought up Wagner. I posted Wagner. Brother, him and Wagner could be the future of this offensive line. Yes. The fact that we got both guys, especially could be the future of this Tennessee Titans offensive line. And, you know, that's a home run. Big home run to me right there. So I feel very confident. Am I going to say the offensive line, like, I want to say this. I feel a little more comfortable walking out of the draft than I did on day 2 of the draft, thinking like, okay, we gotta find something. And Paul Kaharski said Cam Ward's gonna be on his ass. I said, hold on, Paul. Let us wait until after the draft and let us say that, right? But no, I feel confident. I'm very happy about that, man.
And the fact that we didn't have to draft Wagner, bro.
I thought he was gonna go. I thought dude was gonna go in the 6th round because I checked. I'm like, how's this dude undrafted?
I don't get it. I don't understand.
See, I'm so mad because it was what's his name? Tristan Length. Ari posted that he was going to the Titans. I was like, dude, so happy. But then it was like, you know, he signed the Vikings. I was a little bit bummed. I was like, dude, if we got both him and Wagner and Coogan on the offensive line, but no, man, it's still pumped up, man. This offensive line has beef and it has juice.
Yeah,
and again,
exactly.
And to add on, man, we need depth. The offensive line for the Titans has been lacking depth over the last 2 to 3 years. I mean, just think about it. And we got some nice depth.
No more NPF. No more NPF.
Exactly. No more the Andre Dillard.
I forgot about MPF. I forgot about MPF. But
he bets now on what is it, fantasy FanDuel, whatever the heck he does now. So good for him.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. But Paul Kaharski was after day 2, he's not the only one, but he's the biggest personality that was doing it. Was he has failed Cam Ward and everybody's like, whoa, pump the brakes, we got more to go. And you got to trust in Borgo, man. I wanted to trust
That's
in
the
Borgo.
thing in this draft.
My faith was in Mike Borgonzi to do something to fix the problem. But I was getting a little antsy after day 2.
Yeah,
but I kept the faith that I didn't freak out. I'm not gonna do what everybody thinks I'm gonna do. And freak out, man.
Hey, listen, to take it from the great Nick Saban, guys, trust the process.
Trust the process. Hey, you know what?
We're in a brand new era, man. We're in a brand new era of a guy who's done this more than 10 years, and that's exciting for me. Honestly,
I forgot about me saying that. He's going to be the Jason Kelsey for us, for the like he was, Kelsey was for the Eagles. I forgot about me saying that. That was the one you were going to use for the example. I didn't use that. I don't know if you paid attention, but you could have still used that.
You did kind of already, bro, because you said it.
Yeah, well, not on here.
Well, okay, I give you that. But yeah. I agree with you 1,000%, and also I agree with this Saturday because that was a perfect comp too. Perfect. His intelligence is straight Saturday. His toughness and his grit.
That's true.
Is straight Kelsey. So we got it. It's a Hall of Famer. And I'm okay with saying that. I'm more okay with saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer more than I'm okay with saying it for Cam, and that's big because I think
that's huge.
It's going to be amazing.
Wow.
But I know for a shot of a doubt, Pat is going to be it. He's it. He's it.
Murph, you brought it up. Offensive line, especially centers, do not get much love at all. They deserve more love.
They do.
They deserve.
They do. They definitely.
Yeah, we might have to do a little short, quick segment on Coogan himself.
Oh we with it. The love he got
because I'm ready to get
you got
crazy.
Some good material out of this one.
100%.
Oh yeah.
We all did.
I'm putting these markers on so I can make sure we get it right. But look, this is where I'm at with it. I'm not sure. Maybe I missed it, but I'm pretty sure I was paying attention more. The Pat Coogan and Carnell Tate connection.
Yeah.
You know, these guys going back to, playing high school together. We're not even talking about college. But and you know how it is when you with your buddies. If y'all, I played defensive end in high school, and y'all didn't even know that. There go a whole gym for you. Now you know, your boy plays football. But no, look, my mama had me playing Pee Wee, and I did it. Other circumstances came, but nonetheless, and honestly, when I was playing defensive end in high school, I was in middle school. It was me and my boy Jesse. He played linebacker. We was in 8th grade. We was like that. We was big for our size, and we didn't do varsity, but when we first came in from 8th grade, we started over all the JV players at our position. I remember getting to the quarterback so much the coach said, "Can you just let us run the play?" Oh, don't be mad at me. Be mad at your tackle.
How many sacks did you have, Bandit? I gotta ask you that.
But nonetheless, I get that. And so just having that connection. Now, it's not much that, Tate can do, for Coogan per se. I'm pretty sure he can have some effect. But it's more what Coogan can do for Tate. And Coogan giving that time frame to give Cam the time that he needs. Because Cam was figuring out plays when he didn't have an offensive line. So imagine what Cam can do when he has an extra 2 seconds of comfortable pockets, presence. So Coogan can do that, being the interior, being the anchor of it. And, with the thought in mind, being biased against anybody else on the roster, but imagine Coogan having, get it to my man Tate. Get it to my man Tate. Get it to my man Tate. Like pushing it, like get it to my man Tate. Like, so the fact that they have that, I think is awesome. And I think that that's also going to resonate in the locker room among, the culture and the veterans that we already have. Because when you got two people who, have a similar grind and grit to them, to be able to bring that into a locker room and the organization is trying to build a great culture, I think can really fit right in as a puzzle piece and plug and play. To finish it up with the final, our 7th round pick, the tight end, Jaren, was it Kanak? Is it Kanak?
Kanak.
Kanak.
Okay, there he is.
I was saying Kanak.
I was saying
this is why I asked. But when you look at his 2025 season stats, he had out of 13 games, he had 44 receptions for 533 yards. He didn't have any touchdowns, but he did average 12.1 yards per catch. And then when I look at some of these things, what I'm looking at is field stretchers. Because when you look at these guys that could at least average so much per catch, I don't think necessarily this year one we need them to catch. Not saying we don't want them to catch, but if you're in position, then the defense has to respect it or we're going to expose them. So, and that's kind of the point that I was making on DK at a certain point. I was like, I can see him more like a gadget, field stretcher, like be a decoy. Just come in and use your speed. Because if they don't acknowledge it, then you just open and Cam will throw you the ball. But if they do acknowledge it, then you're drawing someone back, and then it opens up the middle for the slots or maybe whatever play action running back we got. So it's a lot tight ends, whatever. We got a lot of options here, and Dayball is going to know exactly what to do with this. But I call him our Tyson Hill. He played quarterback. He played linebacker. If you see him running track, he ran track. They even have a video of him doing a high knee to a guy on the field. This guy is gadgety he is the athletic version of the Energizer Bunny. And if we can get Jeffrey Simmons to throw a touchdown pass, why couldn't we get a guy that used to be a quarterback? Gidget, like they said. See, let me bring something else to you guys too. Remember in the press conference with Saleh and Dayball, and they were saying, you're not going to be able to recognize us week to week. We won't be predictable. We're going to switch it up. And bringing in guys like this helps me believe that sentiment will be a lot more fruitful than just words, on paper or in a conference. So I can see him being more of a gadget player. They'll have to figure out where they want to sit him based on the skill set, but maybe they'll find different ways to use it. But I won't go too deep into that. I'll let you guys go ahead and help us finish this off. So Jaren Kanak. I'm going to get it right. Kanak.
We ain't gonna have no choice soon. He gonna be making plays, brother.
Kanak like panic.
There you go.
Kanak.
That's it, man. I can't take it because I was listening to Buck today and they were coming up with some crazy stuff like Kanak at the disco and Kanak attack. It was good stuff.
Okay, the Kanak attack. All right, well there it is. That's gonna definitely help me remember. But Jaren Kanak, Ice started off. Tell us about it. I know, man, you were talking about it earlier. Take the floor, brother. And y'all know what to do. We're going to wind this thing on out. But, yeah, take it away, Ice. The floor is yours, brother.
This is the biggest question mark we have in the draft, in my opinion. He is a tight end with a linebacker background, but like he said, he's played halfback in different positions and, maybe a little quarterback. I didn't know that. He said that. That's another one. But I don't think he's going to be playing any quarterback unless it's like a trick play or something. I think that for this first year, he's just going to be a special teams player for us. I feel like Bones Fossil, I'm not saying I know this or anything or there's any reason to believe this is true, but I wouldn't be surprised if, Borgonzi, let Salah have a couple of picks. He let Dable have his influence. And then this was Bones' choice. Like, can you get me this guy, for special teams? Because I don't think immediately he's going to have a big impact on offense. I don't see him being tight end 1 or 2, and that's the position I think that he'll be most suited for. I think year 1 he's going to be a special teams player. I do think he will make the roster. They drafted him. It wasn't like a undrafted free agent. I think he will make the roster because of all the possibilities about this guy. And this is where I get into the good part, is that after this first year, who knows what this guy is going to develop into. He said with the Saints guy, what was it, Hill, Taysom Hill?
Yeah, Taysom Hill,
yeah. I mean, I hadn't heard that yet, but it's kind of intriguing. While he was talking, I actually went and looked up his 40 time. I was like, how fast is this guy? He's like 4.52. So he's got decent speed. And he can be dangerous, So I've seen some of his catches. He finds the open field. It seems to be, to me, his best trait. Is catching balls. I've seen him tackle people. I've seen him catch balls. I like him better as a receiver than a tackler, but who knows? He may develop, and that's why I said it's the biggest question mark. Is we don't know what he's going to become, and but this year I think he'll be a solid special teams player at the very least. At the most, I guess Taysom Hill. That's what you're looking at.
So I was, I'm intrigued by this guy. I think this is a guy that we should all keep our eyes on, and I think that to me, and not to disagree, Ice, but to me, like a 7th round pick is very similar to UFDA, and it's a spot where a team can kind of take a flyer in the same realm. But you pointed out the guy has a lot of athleticism, and I'm intrigued by this dude because he definitely has a motor, And when you hear some of his interviews talking about how he switched over to linebacker and he had to find this different aggression, if you will, right, of how to play because he has a background in offense, like Bandit had said, and he switched to linebacker. He's like, well, I had to tap into a different aggressive part of my brain. That's intriguing to me from a tight end position, from a blocking position, a blocking standpoint. And when you watch his tape last year when he was a tight end, man, going in there, filling the gaps, getting in the holes, blocking at the next level, he ain't afraid to do it, and why, because he has a linebacker mentality in his past. And it's fairly impressive to see what he put on the numbers last year in an SEC school. In the very first year of being a tight end, I like what he said in his presser when local media interviewed him, and he immediately went to the special teams. He's like, I'm ready to come in here and make an impact on special teams. Because to me, that shows a guy that understands his role and where he can make this roster and make an immediate impact and a name for himself while still growing in the other realms. And honestly, when you look at the 53 man and you kind of see how some of these people recently have mocked up, hey, here's my final 53, it might be tough for him to make the 53 because we got DMR there. We also brought in that guy, and you guys might be able to tell me the name. Forget his name, but he's Grandson. Thanks. Yeah, and he was with the Colts. I think he was with the Colts last. I don't know much about him, but he has experience. You know what I'm saying? So this guy's going to have to come in and prove himself. I think DMR has good experience. I'm not a huge fan of DMR, so I wouldn't be shocked if somebody beat him out. But they're still going to have to work at it because these guys have had time in system. Even though it's a new system, they've had time in the NFL. I'm intrigued by him. I like the pick. I like taking a flyer there on somebody that is this athletic, and his RAS grading in certain areas were pretty crazy. So it's gonna be fun. He's definitely gonna be somebody I keep an eye on to see because it would be fun to see somebody from the 7th actually make an impact.
Yeah, Grandson was on the Eagles.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
You don't like DMR, man?
I love DMR, bro.
I know. I've heard you say that.
Man, Van, we've been locked in, bro.
I know.
Day one until now. Like, you broke my heart, bro.
I know, man. Every beautiful relationship has a little bit of kitsch here and there.
Hey, I still work past it, though. I still love it.
Same.
Yeah, even your favorite person get on your nerves sometimes.
Exactly.
Man, I'm like,
DMR is my guy, bro. Like, DMR can ball. I don't understand that. But everybody says cut DMR. I don't understand this.
No, I didn't say cut him.
Well,
I didn't say cut him.
I'm not saying you, but I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You said you hated him.
So this is the last one. So everybody's tired. We just getting all the aggression out. So this is gonna be a fun one. When it comes to DMR. Actually, let's talk about DMR real quick. He needs some respect for his name, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Please do. Yes, sir.
I honestly thought he would be tight end too. I have that much faith in this kid. He should be on this roster. I remember him at Temple. He can ball. Like when he came in the game, the aggression and the way that the team got better last year when he was on the field. But I digress. You said, Van, you said something about the way that the roster is going to turn out in the 53. This is what I think is going to happen. I think that Singleton is going to be put on a pub for the safety of himself. And if he is put on a pub, I think they're going to go 3 high at the running back position. And I think this kid, the guy that we drafted, is going to be put in there at the H-back position, as well as the special team guy, as well as a tight end. So he's going to be an X like Taysom Hill, like you said before, Bandit. So I think he's going to make the roster on that limb, but not that limb alone, because he can ball. He can hit. He is a special teams demon. He reminds me of Matthew Slater when it comes to special teams. Look at him on the special teams. He has Matthew Slater in him. Will he be as good? I don't know. Matthew Slater should be the next special team guy to get into the Hall of Fame. 9 times out of 10, that's not going to happen no time soon. But when it comes to the way this kid plays, he reminds me of Slater when it comes to the special team demon. When it comes to the fullback position, where I think he's going to play majority of his career, he reminds me of Kyle Juszczyk from San Francisco. So I see that in him. If he maxes out his potential, he can play. He can play, but the issue with him is what position does he play? He's not a tight end strongly because he's too small to play tight end. He can play fullback, but fullback is a position in the NFL that's not really valued outside of a couple teams. So where are we going to put him at? I would love to put him at fullback and just go 3 high when it comes to the running back position. But then who is left out when Singleton gets healthy? That's a big question. That is something that we really need to keep an eye on because he's going to take a spot from somebody. And I pray to God it's not DMR because DMR can play. DMR is a baller, bro. Like he's a baller.
If he ends up being halfback 3 and you called that, like you need to get some serious props for that because that's a hell of a call.
No. I'm not saying he's going to be halfback 3. I'm saying I apologize. I digress. Let me say this. He's going to be a fullback on his position, and he's going to be the starting fullback when we need a fullback. But 9 times out of 10, we won't go fullback. The 3 running back situation would be Singleton, TP, Carter, or Spears, whoever beats out. If we go three running backs, and we put Singleton on the pup to start, it's going to be TP, it's going to be Spears, and it's going to be Carter. But the fullback will be our guy that we pick. I don't want to say his name and butcher his last name, but the 7th round draft. I don't want to butcher it. So the 7th round draft pick, he's going to be the fullback that we take. So he can go back from fullback, he can go to H-back, he can go special teams if we need him to, which more than likely he will be because he can tackle. And even if you need an extra guy on defense for whatever reason, the Patriots be throwing wide receivers on defense. I can see him being that type of guy. He can play. He's that versatile. He's that good. He's that aggressive. He can play. You put up 585 yards receiving as a tight end. The first time you play tight end in college, in that division, you can play, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. You can play.
If we're carrying a fullback on the roster, which I expect us to do, do you guys think it's possible that we only have two running backs on the roster?
Absolutely not. I think
I think it's 4.
It's
3
or
4. I think
4. I think 3. I don't think 4.
I think 4.
Yeah, I'm definitely not 4.
The only reason I don't think 4 is because I think we might add more depth to wide receiver or tight end. Because if we go with 3, we didn't even have. Well, I mean, we didn't even have 3, good, running backs. So adding in the addition of, okay, so we still bring back Pollard and Spears and then Chestnut.
Well, that's the question of Carter or Singleton comes into play at 3.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying, but that's what competition is for.
And that's why I say Singleton is going to go in the pub just so they don't have to think about this during training camp. Because I really think they see what they have in Singleton already. And I'm fine with that. If that's the case, I'm fine with it. Let's see what TP can do. Let's see what Spears can do when he's healthy. I don't trust Spears' health, and I'm a huge Spears fan. I keep on saying give Spears back 22, and the magic is going to happen to come back. But realistically, that's not the case. Like, if we being real, if we talking about the business aspects of the sports, of the game, Spears should not be on this team because he cannot be relied upon. TP can. So, hell, you can even say Chestnut can. But that's the thing. I don't want to say this because I love Spears that much as a person.
I don't know if you do.
No, I'm saying I love him as a person and I love him coming out of Tulane, but it's just the whole injury factor, bro. It's like, can we depend on him because we're going to the playoffs. So can we depend on him stretching to the playoffs?
Hot take.
Beautiful hot take. But I don't
think that's a hot take. That is not a hot take.
Ooh,
okay. We'll discuss that later on. We'll discuss that.
Just making it to the playoffs. No, that's not a hot take.
Okay, I'm with you. Bro,
I can see that.
I'm with you. But going back on the subject of Spears, I can't depend on him to play games in December.
And that's why I think the depth will work itself out because they brought in a lot of people because of that factor, and it might not just be among Spears.
Yeah,
it's to see what can we get out of Mullins. Can we get anything out of Chestnut because they did re-sign him, so maybe they did see something. But all of this goes back to what I was saying earlier, kind of about the coaching staff and how they utilize players. Because even Ice will contest to this point about like our rushing attempts, and it seems like we weren't. If we would have had more rushing attempts. Especially if you do your research in comparison to how much we were very close to the Seahawks.
Yes, we were.
When it comes to like rushing and so, and Pollard went like at least 6 straight weeks without like a touchdown. I know because he was on my fantasy. but no, like then he bounced back. He had a great end to the season, and I just think people really, really, really undervalue the understanding of not only the coaching staff, because I'll get off of them, but the players that we had, the non-existent. Listen, as a running back, a great offensive line and great receivers are your best friend. That's why Saquon excelled in Philly.
Yeah.
Not just because he's a great running back. He was a great running back the whole time. But when he got behind a competent O-line and actually weapons on the outside, he could do his thing.
Yeah.
They didn't have to respect it as much in New York. And so now I think that, and I think that's something that Borgonzi takes into consideration. I think he's a great evaluator of like, the talent and the players. So he sees what we talk about. And that's why we're getting so much of this. Are they watching us type of factor? Because we make sense. We know what we want as fans, but we actually got a staff that understands it from the same side. Not saying that they're necessarily side with us just because we're fans, but because we're true diehard fans, we look at it a certain way that most people won't, and we're seeing things that. And I'll give you. I'll tell you. This is how I know it's true. I know it's true because you are who you are. Meaning you've been evaluating, assessing, and having your opinions based off your perception for a while. What you've been dealing with is you've been going up against an incompetent coaching staff who hasn't been able to exercise what you've seen in certain players. And so now that we're getting that, now things are starting to feel like, are they watching us? Like, what's going on? Like, how do we? No, they get it. They see, and that's the only reason that I could really have more. And it's not that I didn't believe in Spears, because I lost money on Spears last year too. Like, but I think that they see it. They see it, and not only see it, they'll utilize it because of the statement I went back to earlier. We're not going to be the same team week to week, so we're not going to find our guys. Oh, that's our guy. Let's do it. No. Okay, that's our guy. We'll use them based off of who we're going up against. So, and once we see that, then we'll utilize. Like I said, if Jeffrey Simmons can throw a pass, why can't Kanak? He was a quarterback officially.
Yes.
Jeffrey Simmons was never.
Now, my question to you, bro, is this:
Yeah,
if that's the case, so did we draft Singleton to replace Spears, or did we draft Singleton to replace Chestnut?
We didn't draft Singleton to replace anybody. See, I'm going to tell you like this. We draft Singleton to come in and be who he's going to be and prove to us. See, that's the way that you have to think. You don't sit there and say,
bro.
He's going to go ahead.
He's right. He's right.
He's going to come in and prove what he can do, and then we'll react off of that. See, we see his talent and his skill set, and he was drafted because of that. But just because we brought you in doesn't give you the guarantee to go ahead and replace. So we'll see what he's capable of while we retain, and that's why they brought so much competition into the running back room. And so I can't say that anybody was brought in to replace anybody. Not even Tate. Tate isn't here to replace anybody. He's here to add. It's all about competition because the competition will work itself out. How do we make decisions without going through training camp? We have to see these guys on the field up against each other and see who wants it the most. Who's going to prove themselves the most? Who can adapt to the coach's scheme the most? Who can be the most consistent? And that's what it's all about. Now, we can bring you in for potential, but now you have to allow that potential to match to the scheme and then consistency through what we're trying to do. So I think if Singleton is the guy that can prove himself, then that's what will happen. If he's not, it's okay. What he was, a fifth-round pick? Okay, fifth-round pick. I think that they'll continue to keep drafting running in that order here until guys can prove themselves, because there's no reason to go that high of a value when you can have this is why Kansas City brought in Kenneth Walker. Kansas City, multiple Super Bowl champion, they can do that. It's a luxury pick. It's a luxury signing. And they still added to the depth, the room. And so I just feel like for every position, it's all about to prove it, but that's what we want. We don't want what, if I would have had an answer to what you said, then we would have still been in the same position as the previous years.
I'm going to ask this last question.
Let me get my final remark in, because I gotta go.
Okay.
So let me just defend Spears real quick. When he is on the field, guys, like, he makes some great moves. Like, he shows you things. Like, I know, like, but he'd be able to get hurt. Like, I get that, but I just don't think that these injuries are going to continue like forever. Eventually, he just had a bad rap, man. Now this is a prove it season, but I think this is a prove it season for a few people on this team. But to shift over to Nick Singleton, talking about who he's supposed to replace and everything, I don't think he's supposed to replace anybody this year, but I do think they got him for a potential Pollard replacement. Like, I don't think Pollard's coming back after this year, and they want to have somebody in line who might take that role and run with it. But it's not in stone. It's not in stone. He's not here to take anybody's role this year. And I think that there's a lot of question marks around Singleton, but there's the ceiling is out the roof though. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, that's what I think about him. But it's been great being here with you guys, and we've had this is probably our this is probably our best pod that we've had. I ain't gonna lie, like I mean we were bringing the fire today. I mean Van brought it, Coach Murph brought all these great comparisons. Like is your name Jackson?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you know exactly. Everybody can call you Jackson.
I was holding my name often.
They said Bo then Jackson, and I'm like, are they just saying like Bo Jackson for Bo?
Bo
No,
Jackson,
because
of course,
Bo was
bro.
actually on the podcast earlier, bro. Bo was on the podcast earlier, and then
Yeah, well, it's been great with you guys, man. Everybody's bringing up good points, but if anybody should be supporting Spears, it should be Jackson because he ran all over the Trojans.
Wow.
Yeah, he did, bro.
Crazy that he
I'll
gonna
tell
say
you
that and
this.
leave on
I'll
you.
tell
Though.
you
That's
you can't
crazy.
leave like that, bro. That's
The mic
disrespectful.
drop, exactly.
Hey, catch him in the group chat, bro. Catch him in the group chat.
Love you guys, man. Love you
I
guys.
love you too, brother. Be
Appreciate it,
All
safe.
right, bro. Love you too, bro.
Seriously,
Hey, brother.
before we get to Jackson to end this off, when it comes to our round 7 pick, I have a question for you now. So you said everything you said, which was beautiful. So if that's the case, do you feel like Love was always the smokescreen?
I don't
you
think
feel like
he
it was
was.
always going to
No.
be Tate?
So, because of the way you draft, and if I'm, I think I'm not gonna say that I'm like Borgonzi, but I'm very good, intellectually, and I think I understand the process. And like he said, you heard it. We ready to draft now.
Mhm.
We got plan A, B, C, D. Because if you don't have the first pick, you're not guaranteed to pick.
There you go.
So anything from after the first is not guaranteed. Even the second, you seen what happened last year when the Jags moved up to second. So nothing's guaranteed. I think they were prepared for whatever. And I don't even think what we drafted was what they was. The plan.
Yeah.
I think this was the adjustment, and that's why they was like, you know what, we don't need to get okay guys. That's why they drafted up twice back to back, or moved up to draft, because they saw we need to get him now. We need to get him now, and that's why we didn't have a third or a fourth. They sacrificed our third and fourth potential to make sure. And I think I seen somebody saying this. This was the quality over quantity draft.
There you go.
And I'm fine with that. I'm fine if we had 9 and it was 5 if these are great players.
Yeah.
Instead of giving me 9 okay players, we got to work out and maybe one. No, give me 5 bangers. I'll take that all day. And I think most people would. Even if you ask somebody like an artist, but you want 10 okay singles or 5 hit records? What do you want? So I think that, and that's what I say with everybody. But I think that's just for every position. I think everyone has their reason for being picked, and I believe in it. I'm not negating it, but I just still feel like it's just something that has to be developed because they're still rookies. The same reason people giving Femi smoke. But I think I could even see Femi going 10 sacks this year.
I agree.
I agree.
bro. I agree.
I don't know. But yeah, I think it'll be a lot better than what people expect. But yeah, man.
Okay. I respect. Jackson, take us on, brother.
Yeah, I like Kanak, man. I kind of saw him at the combine. Like Van said, very good speed. 4.52, good size. I mean, especially for that, for 6'2", 234 type of tight end guy, good speed. But the only concerns is for me is just he's only done tight end for 1 year, right? So he's gonna float around. He's gonna be a versatile type on the offense. What if he does some quarterback screens, right? You never know. Taysom Hill type of player, I can definitely see that. But no, I'm very excited. I think all y'all said, he could be definitely big impact. This feels like a John Fossil pick, man, because Bones does love his tight ends. And remember last year, the special teams it got hot. It got better the second year under Callahan than it did the first year. And I think Kanak can play more in the special teams. And I do trust in Gunnar Helm right now. I do think he's a tight end number 1, but he does provide depth in that tight end room. I'm not on DMR, coach. I do like DMR. I think he can make a big impact. Bellinger is going to be in there as well. So he does provide depth in that room. I don't know how many guys are going to keep, but low-key, we'll talk about more about roster later on. But they low key give me 3-4 tight ends. I don't think it'll be 5. I mean, remember we had 5 tight ends in 2024 and it just became useless. Like, what do we have all these tight ends for? So I think it'll be like 3 to 4, but I do like the versatility we have in this room, and I am comfortable at this spot.
I agree, bro. I'm 100% with you.
I love when Ice dropped the bomb on Tulane and you guys like, funny enough, I was watching that with my neighbor, my close neighbor. Like, he's a really good friend of mine, and we're just both sitting there. We're like, what is going on here, man? It's like it frustrates me, but hey, he came to a good team. So it's funny enough. There's a lot of players in the Titans have destroyed the Trojans, and Alec, I met he reckoned I met Alec on the over there, but he looked at me. He's like, "You the guy that said F the Trojans?" I'm like, "Yes, yes." So there's bad blood in the Trojans, but anyway, no, all love.
100%. You're a Titan at the end of the day, brother. You're
Titan
a Titan
at the end of the day.
Yes, sir.
That's why I said
That's
Femi. That's why I said Femi too, because he's a Bruin, and we played him like twice in the last couple of years. But anyway, we're out to head up out of here too, because I gotta go grab eat and I gotta get ready for tonight's big storm, just in case if we have anything going on. But appreciate
be
y'all
safe,
boys.
brother.
Always.
Please be safe over there,
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes, sir. You too, bro. Appreciate y'all, boys.
All right, no problem.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Take it
All
safe,
right,
man.
well,
See you guys.
Twice me. Okay.
It's on you, Bandit.
It's on me. All right, well, look, let me bring us up to face. There it is.
Beautiful,
Wow.
beautiful.
Wow, now I can really see how ugly you all are. That's crazy.
Look at my body, bro. Look at my body.
Oh, it looks clean. It's clean.
Hey, look,
great.
you know what? I'm gonna save that question for tomorrow because I'm not gonna hold us too long. So tomorrow, what we're gonna do, we're gonna look at the offense, look at the defense, how these players actually fit into their position in the totality of the total roster. Look at potential cut candidates, and then if there's anything or any other holes that we feel need to be addressed or filled or positions that we feel like we can maybe add more into before we go into the season solidified and getting ready to actually run it through for this 2026. But one thing I can say is I really feel like I'm seeing them do everything possible to be prepared to go into the 2026. I don't feel like they're just signing people. I don't feel like they're just hiring people. I really feel like, Borgonzi, coaches and staff are doing everything possible to not only work together on a unifying level, but also bring us the best possible prospects that can give us the most, successful potential team. Not saying we can go Super Bowl. I'm a root for it. But like I said, I'm going to say it again. I actually said it last year, and I'm bringing it back again this year. 10-7. 10-7 is my pick. That's where I see us. And I'm not going to sway away from that. Tennessee is one of the dark horses of this year. I'm saying it now and early, and it's definitely going to be something that's going to resonate into this year. But before I take us home, any of you all got any closing remarks before I let you get back to your families? Because don't have your wife texting me. Don't put the blame. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me.
Hey, we've come full circle today.
No,
man.
Any closing remarks?
Yelled at since 8 o'clock, bro. So we got
you were late. 8 o'clock was not your time.
Well, I apologize. 9:45. 9:45.
There you go. No, it's good stuff tonight, man. I appreciate it. We had a lot of fun. Good stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
I love y'all, man. It's always fun. Always fun. Tighten up. Let's get it going.
Yeah, baby.
It's always fun. And with that being said, we appreciate y'all for tapping in and rocking out with us. Thank you for watching and being a part of this journey, because we are building something real over here. This is a place for Titan fans to pull up, speak up, and feel at home. So I want you to help us out. Do us a favor. Let more people know. Let more of the two-tone family know that they can do the same. This isn't exclusivity. This doesn't require journalistic, credentials. This is for the everyday fan, because fans have a voice and everyone is welcome. And if you enjoyed this, just do me a solid. Like, share, and subscribe, and follow. Catch me on IG, Twitter, TikTok, and the Two-Tone Bandit. Let me know how you feel down below. I'll be checking back soon. TTFU all day, baby. I'm the Two-Tone Bandit, and me, Van, and Murph All right. Out of here. Be safe.